Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Scale. I'm super excited for this and looking forward to spending the next 2 hours with you. As you know, we didn't put out a lot of detail about the event, and that was kind of on purpose. Keeps it a little bit more fun that way. But we have some good stuff coming. I want to spend the first hour, Rod and I, going over some things that I think will really apply to you where you're at now, as long as you didn't cheat and get in this event by putting revenue range that you're not actually in. So if you're doing somewhere between $8,000 a month and, at the high end, $25,000 a month, and your goal is to scale to $50,000 plus per month, I think you'll find a lot of value in this. If you snuck in outside of that revenue range, don't out yourself in the chat. But just know it might not be quite right for you now. Rod, you had to pin the birthday comment.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's gonna be a good event. Thank you. Yeah, we decided there was nothing better to do than throw an event on my birthday. So here we are. I have a slideshow that I'm gonna dive into, not because I'm the biggest fan of slides, but because there are some things that I think people really, really do wrong at the stage, between, let's say, 8 and 20K a month, that can really hurt the progress you make in your business, and really like what you get out of your business. And so I wanted to make sure to hit on a few key things. A lot of this is going to be content that I haven't really covered or made in this way before. So I'm excited to see how it resonates with you. We've worked with a lot of people as they start their media company and then they grow and launch, right? And then we get to work with them in Forward. First of all, how many of you here are in Forward or have been in Forward? Put that in the chat. I'm just curious. We get to work with a lot of people in Forward who are scaling their business. And so I've seen a lot of people go through these phases of scaling. I've seen people make the mistakes and grow slowly. I've seen people do it right and grow quickly. Two of those people are going to be joining us later. David Lancaster and Tyler Redder both have built 50K plus media companies, opposite sides of the country, one in Florida and one in Washington. It's going to be great. So looking forward to it. First, I got to see kind of what the revenue range is of the crowd. So if you don't mind, comment your current, whatever you think of your average monthly revenue as in your business, just so I can kind of dial it even further into where you're at. And Rod, that was enough monologue. Thank you for being here as well, sir. I appreciate you.
I like how we matched. That was planned, wasn't it?
It was. And actually how it happened is
I'm on brand and you're wearing brandless. So it's like, it's kind of cool.
We were on a meeting earlier and Rod was like, are you going to wear that during the event? Because I had like a slightly wrinkly shirt on. So
if you got one wrinkle on you, I got to let you know,
Yeah.
Even though I probably have plenty on me, so I can't talk. So
Logan, what's going on? Good to see you. So Logan's doing 25 to 30. So you're probably going to feel some of this more than be warned about some of this, but that's a good thing. Jeremy doing 20K, 25K, 13. 13.
Really good
19.
Good range right here.
Nobody's confessed that they snuck in. So that's the good news.
No one said 7 or 26, really. So that's good.
Darlene average 9K, 15K most.
Okay.
Marco due to slow season 4 or 5K previously 8K. Yeah, you'll bounce right out. So just don't even count December in your monthly. It's December. That's how it goes. Mariah doing 20, Vet 11 to 14. Okay, cool. Well, let's jump into it. If you've seen, so I gave a talk at PMRE, the conference that was right after our REPP conference, and some of the things that I prepared, I think really hit. And so I posted a video kind of going through those slides, but I kind of like cannibalized a few of them and brought them in here. So if you've seen this first graphic before, I promise you this is not the same slideshow. There's some really core things that I thought went well with that talk that I wanted to bring in and provide value in this end. Because listen, we can't just deliver the value at PMRE and not bring it here. All right, so jumping into it. Most business owners, I think, are working really hard to grow their business. Like none of you in this category are lazy. Maybe you feel it some days, but I would say it's quite the opposite problem that you generally have. And that's kind of what happened to me too, is like I was working on the wrong things in my business, right? So I tended to work on the things that I was good at. We all have skills, right? Some of you love sales, or you love operations, or you like the technical side. And like what happens when you do that is you work on that instead of what your business actually needs, because none of us like working on what we suck at. The problem is, at least I don't, the problem is sometimes the stuff that we are good at feels like we need the most work in that category. Meaning, like, if you're really good at sales, you're always going to look at your business and be like, here's what we can do to fix sales. Like, here's how we can make it better, right? Because you know enough to know that you have more to do. And so what that means is that because, in my case, at least, I felt like I had so much to do in areas of the business I liked that I would get to the other stuff later. So what that meant is, when I was starting my business, what I liked was figuring out how to shoot real estate. That felt like a very important thing to me, right? You can all remember when you're starting your business, you're like, man, the number one thing I just need to do is learn how to shoot real estate properly and get good photos. When I do that, like, my business is going to take care of itself. And that's not really true, right? And I felt like I had a lot of improvement to make. But what I needed at that point was not to spend time on that. I needed to spend time so I actually had shoots. I need to spend time getting clients. Like, you guys are all past that revenue range. You can feel that, right? Like, that's how it felt. But what you needed to do was get clients. Then my business grew to 15K a month. And this is where a lot of you are at. It's called average 15K, 20K. You can sub that number in here. You've gotten really, really good. My guess is you've gotten really, really good at being busy. Like, you're the most efficient, you again, you're not lazy, right? Like, you're shooting, your schedule's efficient, you're good at client requests, you're good at fixing issues, you're good at putting out fires. Excuse the terrible AI, Eli. It added some weight to me too, but that's a different story. So you're good at those things. And that almost becomes like the trap, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm good at these. Like, I'm crushing, I'm doing right. And so the problem is, what I really needed to do at that phase, and what I would encourage all of you to do, is say, not what am I doing every day and what am I doing well, but it's like, what do I need to be doing to move the business forward so I don't have to pride myself on being super busy or really good at putting out fires. Like, for me, I kind of felt like I was just running in place in my business. Here's another AI photo for you guys. And so I'd encourage you to think about that a little bit. If you're in this revenue range, like, does that sound familiar to you? And I'm not one of those guys, you don't have to put sounds familiar in the chat. Like, just think about this in your head. Like, do you feel, if you think about your business, do you feel like you're making meaningful progress forward every day? Or do you feel like you do a lot that keeps your business going, but doesn't necessarily move it towards where you want to go? Which, the application you filled out, this event is all about getting to 50K. So you're here because you want to scale. I'm not even going to talk about how there's different paths you can optimize as a solo. Today, we're talking about, like, your goal is to get to 50K a month. So if that feels familiar to you, if you feel like you're in place, that's okay. And that's literally what today is for. And here's the 3 things that I want to go over. And we're actually going to do something cool. So we're going to go over these things. I'm going to give you some frameworks that are brand new. And then we're going to bring in Tyler and we're going to bring in David, and we're going to have them talk about how those frameworks applied to their businesses as they successfully scaled to 50K a month. And the first one is the one that I hope all of you have heard about by this point. So this is not a new frame, but it's it's a foundational one. And I think it's always a good reminder. And that's the reason this acronym exists, right? Because it's something you need to constantly think about. It's not like, oh, got it, cool, move on. Like, you really need to keep doing it. So then we're going to map out the 20 to 50K a month dead zone, and why we call it that. Yeah, Dan's ahead of the game. And why we call it the dead zone. And then we're going to go over a framework called SCALE. I get in my acronym days sometimes, guys. And when I do, usually something helpful comes out of it. So I'm excited to share this with you because it's like the roadmap to scaling to 50K. And the result of that is you can grow your business as much as you want. So the first one, because if you don't know which part of your business is broken, the steps to get to 50K a month most efficiently, you could waste 2026 fixing the wrong one. And here's like the core framework before we get into a little bit more about the COST acronym and just a reminder of it. And that is, misdiagnosis is generally what kills growth at the phase everybody here today is at, not laziness. It's not that you don't do enough work. I would actually argue it's probably that you do too much work. It's just too much of the wrong thing. And I very deeply understand what it feels like to run a real estate media business in the range that you're in, because I did it and I stayed there longer than I should have. And I get to work with people all the time who are in that phase. So this is not me, from some mountain on high saying like, you just got to do this, it's easy. Like, I understand that, I understand the phase you're at, and I understand the challenges you have with your business. And I understand that some of this doesn't feel as simple to do as it may seem. And that's what I want to talk about today, is more the real aspect of that. Like, what actually happens in your business that makes you feel stuck, And what is the difference between a media business that does scale and what is the difference between a media business that doesn't, if they're both given the same opportunity, which we all are, right? There's differences in market a little bit, but like we all have the same business. We all do the same things, even if it doesn't feel like it. All right, so why your business may be stuck. I had AI come up with a graphic that I think is really representative of a lot of people's business. So you can see in this case, like this guy has one big arm and one small arm, right? And so with this guy, it's pretty easy to see that if he wants to become stronger, it's not about doing more left arm workouts, right? And if you zoom out a little bit, and this relates to your business, just stay with me here, but if you zoom out a little bit, you can also tell that his legs are disproportional. It's literally just that one arm is beefy, right? And I think a lot of people's business looks like that without them knowing, because like this guy, he's like his left arm is strong. So he's going to go like crush with that. Like he's lifting much heavier weights. He's doing more reps. He's stronger with that arm, right? And that's a lot of times what the business, what happens to people, because you have a skill and you have something you enjoy and you have three things in this case you neglect, which is right arm and two legs, right? And what that does is it doesn't matter how much in this scenario that this guy continues to exercise, it switched to his right arm because sometimes you can't control AI, but it doesn't matter how much this guy continues to lift with his right arm. That's not what's limiting how much he can lift as a human, right? Like that's not the problem. That arm is great. It's the other arms that are the problem. And so the COST acronym is like the core foundation that helps you figure out, hey, am I just focusing on one arm? So for those of you, I know a lot of you understand the COST acronym already, but this is a way you can look at your business. And I just want to go through it briefly. The C stands for clients. The O stands for owner. The S stands for systems, and T stands for team. Whoa, that like flew through those slides. And this is a way that you can break down your business into different buckets and then look at each of those buckets objectively, figure out which one of those is most holding you back, like which bucket is carrying the least water. So then you can spend all of your effort on that one bucket so you grow the most quickly and the most smoothly, instead of just working on one bucket and hoping your business grows, right? That's like the guy with just doing one arm and hoping it makes him stronger. Because what happens here is you can carry more water or move your business more forward if you fill the lower bucket rather than, like, in this case, the client's bucket is full, right? Like that thing can't carry any more water. That's not what's limiting how much these buckets have, right? You just pour more water in there, it's flowing over. And what that means in your business is you keep trying to get more and more clients, but your team is terrible, your systems are bad, and so you're just churning clients every day, right? You're not actually carrying more water. And so, you'll hear me refer to things as bottlenecks a lot. That's not my word. That's, in business 101 is right. You think about like, what's the bottleneck of the business? It's literally holding back the flow of your business, and the flow being the money you make, the peace you want, the lifestyle you want, whatever it is, the future you want in your business. In this case here, $50K a month, right? That's what we're orienting for. And so if you don't zoom out, that's the first step of getting your business to the next level. And that's why I'm covering it first. If you don't zoom out and say like, hey, what's the thing that's most going to move my business forward today? You're likely just filling a bucket that's already over full. And that's why you're just staying in kind of a same revenue range, right? So here's some examples, and I'm not going to spend too much time on costs. I know everybody kind of knows that baseline, but I just wanted to bring it up because it is the foundation. So, when it comes to clients, the C in cost, you can have too many types of clients. You can have too few types of clients. You can have no acquisition system in place. You can have high churn. You can have clients who act like they hate you at every shoot, right? Those all can be holding back your business, the client side of things. For owner, it could be, high stress, bad prioritization in your business. Maybe there's things you believe about your business. I always hated it when people said, like, limiting beliefs, thought errors. I was like, shut up. Like, just give me a tactic. But I think it's really true. Like, we all believe things about our business that serve the business we want to build and that prevent us from getting there. At least I do. Right. And so that's a big one, is the owner bottleneck. And when I initially put this in the slide, this is one of the PMRE slides I put, like running on Zins and caffeine. And I put that as a joke, but like, truthfully, I think a lot of people just trash themselves in this business. And just, if you're getting poor sleep, your diet's terrible. It's like running a race, 100-meter race, and you're starting 20 yards behind everybody else. It's like, you have to be so much better to win. And so just something to think about. It's a big one for me personally over the last year. I I was like really focused on growing my business. I was eating like crap. I wasn't moving, and I was 40 pounds heavier than I should have been. Right. And so I fixed that, and I feel like more clear than ever. It's not like a workout lesson 101. I'm so new to that, but I know that it's made so much different in my life, just prioritizing what for me, I think was becoming the bottleneck, right? For S, could be lack of systems, inefficiency, too many systems, too complicated of systems. And then of course, ending with a joke, you have that photographer that keeps shooting 96 photos of the same room and then sending them all to the editor. It's like, dude, you're at the shoot 3 hours, and you ran late to the next shoot. And then you got back and you delivered 96 photos and I had to pay for 96 photos to get edited. Right. And it's like, that's funny, but that kind of thing happens in all of our businesses. Maybe it's not the thing holding you back, but maybe it is. Right. If you have this stuff happening all the time in your business, maybe it's not that you need more clients. Right. For team, it could be, wrong people, wrong roles, too many people, lack of role clarity, not enough people. The one person you need to fire, but you haven't. I know you guys are probably not quite having teams yet, maybe starting to get there, but team can be a big one that holds your business back. And so the main point of the first thing I wanted to talk about is the problem is the bottleneck is something that's unique to your business and it changes. It's like playing whack-a-mole, right? You hit one mole down in the game and another one pops up and you hit that one down. And that literally is what scaling is. And so the point I'm making is everyone has a bottleneck. They're all just different, but we all have one, right? And as soon as you solve it, it moves on to the next one. And that is literally what scaling is. So where you guys are right now is you've whacked a few moles. That's why you're at 15, 20K a month, right? And scaling literally is the sequence you whack those. So if you whack one and it goes down and you keep trying to whack it, you don't win whack-a-mole and you also don't win in business. And so if you find yourself, especially, how many of you feel like you're plateaued a little bit or you're not growing nearly as fast as you want? Because I mean, some of you here that's not like a loaded question, right? Like some of you here are like, no, I'm growing fast. I just wanted to see like what I need to do next. But if you feel like you're in kind of like a holding pattern, I'm just curious, drop it in the chat so I can kind of get a feel for where everybody's at. Darlene, yes. Yeah, don't be like afraid of it. I've been in a plateau more than I've not been in a plateau, right? It's like, I guess it's kind of like playing whack-a-mole in the dark until you know what you need to do. And so the goal for today is to turn on the lights, right? Okay, yeah. So a lot of you feel that way. What's probably happening, and there's a combination of factors, right? To use the juvenile reference again, is like you're playing whack-a-mole, but you're playing whack-a-mole in the dark and you're whacking the same mole that's already down. And it's like, well, why am I not getting more points, right? It's like, well, you're not hitting the right mole. Why are you not hitting the right mole? Because you don't know which mole it is to hit. There's like way too many references in this already, Rod. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the faster you correctly identify what you need to solve next, the faster you unlock the next level in your business, right? So cost helps you look at your business objectively. So you're not just saying, I'm hitting it harder, right? I'm hitting it harder. It's like, well, it's not the one you need to hit. And I get that that's simple, but not easy. And so I'm not expecting you to go, oh yeah, now I can do it, right? Like that's not, again, I understand where you're at in the business. And I know it's not just as simple as like flipping the light on, but at the core, it is about what you prioritize in your business. And the hardest thing is it's about what you let slip in your business and what you put attention to. Because one thing that is really hard, and it's always hard, and the more successful you build the skill to be okay with that, the better. But it's like growth and scaling and prioritization, really, to sum it up. Prioritization means that you're not doing something else that you need to do. You're purposefully letting it slip, right? And so I would encourage you to do one thing, and I'll give you some takeaways at the end. But the first one is, I want you to, after this, objectively think about your business and say, hey, what mole am I hitting over and over? Like, which of the cost acronym do I keep doing? Because it's probably not the bottleneck. And then look at the other three and say, which one of these do I want to prioritize more of? And which one of these would get me closer to 50K than doing more of what I'm doing, right? And you're going to have to let stuff slip. We'll talk more about that in a minute. You're going to lose clients. You're going to lose clients, part of scaling, right? But you're going to net gain. You're going to disappoint somebody you could have not disappointed. You're going to, do something that feels like the wrong move. You're going to have to relax standards in areas that don't matter, and you're going to have to increase standards in areas that matter. You're going to have to relax standards of, you looking at every photo, delivering it, or this client needs this way every single time, or we're going to lose them. Maybe you have to lose them, right? Like there's going to be things that you have to do because it's forced to break out of this. So that's the baseline. Number one is cost. Cool, Jacob. Thank you on that. It's helpful.
And I think if I can weigh on cost a little bit, and what I've noticed in working on different bottlenecks too, is it's, you said it, like sometimes we avoid the things that we're not good at too. Now, and while you were speaking, I was trying to think like, okay, what are some other reasons that might be that too? And I think a lot of times it's like, it could be a lot of reasons why we're almost like we subconsciously don't want to know that there's a problem somewhere. Because then the one, we're admitting there's a problem and maybe we don't like that, or two, it knows we're going to have to go bust our butts and do some work in an area that's not what we're comfortable in. So it's like it's almost like we're avoiding that work subconsciously because we know it's where work is or where we're not good at, and we don't want to admit. Like there's a lot of factors that contribute to bottleneck avoidance, I guess is what it is.
And you don't
going straight into it is the answer, but if you don't know what to do, there's the trepidation on that, and it's like it just can instigate a lot of fears, I think, with when trying to, like you said, misdiagnose one of those. So interesting points that you made with that.
What you said too is like, okay, so you finish a busy day. Everybody here knows what a busy day is because they're probably busy every day because that's what you get in this revenue range, right? But you feel good at the end of a busy day. You're like, damn, I got a lot done. You have that like, you feel good. You get the dopamine. You checklisted yourself. You got it done. You did the shoots, you got the clients done, your inbox set 0, and you're kind of like, okay, got it delivered. All right. You feel you made progress. The problem is, let's say you schedule a Thursday where you're not going to book any shoots. Here's the challenge that actually happens and why prioritization is so hard. So everybody can do this. I want you to picture this. So it's December 11th today, obviously, when we're doing this. Thursday, December 18th, next week. You could probably say, hey, I'm going to block that out right now. But here's all the challenges that are going to happen. Between then and now, you're going to have a really good client that's going to be like, I need Thursday, right? Do you let them shoot on Thursday, or do you let the shoot happen on Thursday, or do you block it off? And it's like, man, it's like a decision. Okay, let's say you make quote unquote the right one and you're like, I can do Wednesday or Friday at any time. They're going to be like, all right, fine, right? And again, worst case, you lose a client. I'm not saying to go lose your best client, but like, that's all. It's already hard. Just making that Thursday stay clear is already hard because you're going to have to happen multiple times, right? And then you're going to have to say no to money on Thursday. It's going to fit itself in other days, but like you said, no to money. So then Thursday morning hits, and you have a bunch of emails in your inbox, and your desire is going to be to go crush all those emails. And you're going to have to say, hey, I either need to do those ahead of time the day before, or like I'm going to have to let them wait a couple hours because I need to use my brain for the highest value activity in the business. I need to crush that right now, right? So that's a hard thing to do. That's like another decision where you like feel bad about it, right? And so then let's say you mess it up, right? You didn't book the shoot, you did good there, but then you messed it up and you did the things in the morning. And then finally you're caught up and it's noon. And now you got to go do what you were going to do. And it's like your energy is just not what it was at 9. And so now you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. And then you do the stuff. And when you're thinking, let's say you need to hire, let's say that's the big one for you, which is probably where a lot of you guys are at right now. You're like, all right, it's noon. I'm going to go hire. You start realizing how much you don't know about hiring, right? You're like, it's like easy on paper. Oh, I'm going to go hire someone on Thursday. But then it's like, all right, how do I even pay them? What do I do in the job posting? When am I going to fit in the interviews? And so you end up you just start feeling like, ugh, like you have the opposite of the feeling you just crushed a bunch of stuff you know how to do. You'd be like, you feel fulfilled and like you did good at the end of the day. Whereas this day, it's like, it's just full of a lot of not good stuff, right? Now, but if you zoom out, it's like, what does my business need? Well, it most needs me to hire somebody. So not to dive like too much into that, but like that's what happens, right? And I wanted to say that because I totally understand how it goes in your business. And the truth is, you have to make hard decisions, and you have to let things slip, and you have to be willing to take those days that suck when you're trying something new. Like it's never a good first day doing something you've never done before. Like it just feels bad. And so just keep that in mind. All right. Number 2, there is, some of you are in it, $20K a month to $50K a month in a real estate media company Now the caveat here, it should have like a little asterisk and it should say with a team, which you have to get a team to get to 50, right? But when you get that team is, some people do it at 50 and some do it at 30 after they're like drowning. That is, what we kind of consider the dead zone in real estate media. And so I've briefly talked about it in different calls before. And if you've been in coaching, you probably heard me say it, but like the dead zone, what is it, first of all? Well, it's a revenue range where you don't have enough money to have the team that you really want, right? You don't have enough money to have an admin quite yet. So you're doing a lot of stuff. You don't have like a lead photographer yet. So you're doing a lot of training and you're going to shoots when someone cancels. So it's a very, very busy time. It can be, but there's not a lot of extra money during that phase. And so it's not the most, it's not the highest profit phase. It's not where you're like, man, I love real estate media, like there'll be days, but like generally, like I don't want to just bait you into saying, oh, it's going to be great when you get to 50K a month, but it's going to be great compared to 20 to 50K a month. Like when you get past that, you have more ability to claim back time in your life in a way that doesn't hurt the business. You have more profitability because you have the revenue matches the team and it just starts to become more profitable again after 50K a month. And that's a little bit about what it is and why it exists. And so the advice I have for you is don't slowly go into that zone. Have a plan to go through it as fast as possible. And, it's the time it takes to go from 20 to 50K can be faster than the time it took you to go from 1 to 20. In fact, it should be a lot faster. The problem is that's only if you're really successful at hitting the next mole in the next order and just not thinking too much about it and not stalling too much about it. And so just big picture advice on that zone is it kind of sucks a little bit. It's not that bad. I'm not, it's not the end of the world, but I just don't want you to think like, oh yeah, I'm just going to kind of tread my way through, like try to get through it as fast as humanly possible. Because there's so much good, like 50 to 100K a month real estate media business is like the sweet spot, right? You don't have to have that big of a team. You can, your profit margins can be 30, 35, 40% if you do things right. That's a lot. You're making 100 grand a month, 40% profit. 40 grand a month take home is pretty good. And your workload might not even be that high in that phase. You have an admin, you're able to go on vacation properly. You can work remotely at that phase. Like Norman and Young, I can live in a different city. I have an operator to do it. It still makes great money that I take home. And so there's a lot of good reasons to push yourself to get to that, 50 plus K a month mark. Just know that like, you're trying to do something that you're trying to get a life that a lot of people want to have. And the reason a lot of people don't have it is because they're unwilling to do the things required to get there. Doesn't mean they're super crazy or it's like you have to be a superhuman to do that. And that's not at all the case. You just have to make small decisions that others wouldn't make. Right. And you have to be, in theme with this one. You have to be speedy. Don't hang out in the phase before. Blast through it. A lot of people start going like, I don't want to hire. I don't like employees. All these employees cause problems. My profit isn't. And it's really tempting to want to go back to solo operator. Right. Which, for some people, that's the move. If you're here, I don't think that's the move, right? You've shown that you don't want to. It would be retreat. It'd be you giving up. And I understand the desire to give up, but it's like, I would go into it thinking more of how am I going to go through this zone as fast as humanly possible? And, be prepared to like, for that thought to enter your mind of like, I should just go back to solo. It was so easy. Like, I promise you, it's so easy to own a 50 to 100K a month real estate media business compared to being a solo photographer. Like, I mean, you don't have to do anything if you don't want it to, right? That's just objectively easier. You could literally not work and make as much as you did as a solo photographer. That's the option you've created for yourself if you're willing to do the things that, a lot of people won't do. It's only a small percentage of real estate media companies will do the stuff required to get there. And otherwise they just kind of, it's like you slam you're in first gear, just revving over and over. It's like, you got to shift the second gear to get more speed, or you just feel, so if you've been bouncing off the ceiling, think about it. And the takeaway from this one is don't hang out in the dead zone. There's a reason we don't call it the life zone. It's just not a very good, it's not the stopping point. I'm probably making it out to be worse than it is, but it's definitely not the stopping point. There's good things on the other side of being willing to solve those problems. All right. Lastly, and this is the main thing I wanted to have us talk about today, and this is like the frame of what we're going to have David and Tyler, talk about in their business and how they scaled to 50K a month. So you can screenshot this if you want. Scale, I like acronyms. So S stands for speed, C stands for client acquisition, A stands for A-team hires, L stands for leverage, not labor, and E stands for engine that runs without you. These are what you need to focus on to get to 50K months. So I want to kind of go through those one by one. Jacob, as I was talking about that, I almost said Jacob probably understands because I saw your 25 to 30K all year thing. So I just didn't want to assault you for no reason, sir. So I appreciate you saying that. So these are the, and I get it. If you're looking at it, you're like, Eli, duh. Like I'm going to hopefully give some things that make this acronym valuable, but like this is not so much an acronym of like a checklist as more of it is the process and what you will see happen on your road to 50K if you're doing things correctly. So S stands for speed, right? This phase is all about speed. And I don't mean speed of what you do every day operationally. I mean speed of new things that you do that move your business forward, right? So it's easy to be speedy in the day-to-day. I'm talking about speed of decision-making and speed of doing things. I need a photographer, I hired a photographer, right? I need more clients, that's on my schedule, it's happening. I need to review my pricing and update things. It's speed takes the things that are in your head that you said for months that you know you need to do, and it gets them to being done, right? That's the kind of speed I'm talking about. I'm not saying get more efficient with shoots. Like everybody's in that phase now where consider it a negative thing every time you go do a shoot in your business. When you're 0 to 10K, it's like you've spent all that time rewarding yourself for getting shoots because that was the goal of that phase. It was to get you booked. The goal of the next phase is to clear your calendar, right? So you can do things that move the business forward. And when I say clear your calendar of client obligations. That's really the name of the game here, is we want to take control back of our schedule, not by saying, no, I'm not going to do that shoot and not making any money, but by creating a system where those shoots still happen without you. So speed is that is the most important variable of this whole stage, right? And it's a simple one, but I'm staying on it for a while because I think, at least personally, I struggle with it a lot, especially during that stage. I try to make it, when I say that I know I need to do something, I would say the number one thing I've worked on as an operator is making the time I say something till the time it happened as short as humanly possible.
And that is true, y'all. Like if I can second that a little bit, like after working with Eli at REPP for the last 2 years, I love speed. It's impulsive speed action, and and it's fun to work with someone that's the same. But Eli is very, like, I love how you say it's the speed of new things. It's like, oh, I gotta go do something, like, and you just, we'll be messaging about something, and then the next morning you already have this elaborate plan for said something, like ready to attack something that's new. And it's just like a fearless approach that you have. And I think that's like what you're conveying now really well, I think, to everyone. Like, it's just like the speed of which you attack new things. And it gets to a point where it just stops feeling so fearful potentially. And it also gets faster, and it feels more like a habit. It feels weird to not do that eventually. If that's you kind of feeling like that, because I know we'll all be feeling differently. But if I can, compliment Eli on that. He quick. When he says speed, he means it. He's quick with it. And that's big time when you're building your business to 50 grand a month. So
it is. And I will say too, well, first of all, I appreciate that, Rod.
You're welcome for the random glaze. It's your birthday, so I got to compliment you as much as awkwardly as possible and dress like you. Like, I'm doing everything.
I appreciate it. It's noted and noticed as well. That is a skill set, not a character trait, by the way. So if you don't feel like you're that person, I didn't feel like I was that person either. That's a skill set. Something can be developed. And just like anything, right?
But practicing anything in everyday life. You got clothes you got to fold on your bed that you've been wanting to
do it. Just
for a little bit, go do it. Like, practicing the little things. So when it comes to the bigger things in your business, you already kind of have that habit kind of framed a little bit. So practice the stuff in every day and start to develop that habit and that skill set, like Eli's saying, because it is good to look at it like a skill versus something you're doing.
I mean, and it not to make this too like life coachy, but it helps with every aspect of your life. It's just like we all have all these things that we've said we needed to do. And it's just like, if we can just do it's like, it's all going to get done, but we get more done if we just do them all faster. And you just, you know, it works in everything. I renovated a house like a year and a half ago, and like it was an 8-week full renovation. It was like, was it crappy quality? No, it was just I knew it needed to be done, and every vendor was scheduled fast. It was like when they're done, they're in here, and we just got it done. You do that in your business, the business moves forward, the house gets renovated, the things get done, and so speed is huge. And I've just never found that I make that much better of a decision if I take a while to do something. It's like I think I make the better decision when I do something real. It's like in the time that it used to take me to think of something, plan it out, and do it, I've thought of something, done it, realized it was wrong, fixed it, done it again, realized it was wrong, fixed it, figured it out. It's like the first time I didn't figure it out better. I just got through that one first stage in 3 times as long. And so, yeah, take action and do it quickly. C, client acquisition is the name of the game during this phase. If you want to move through that phase fast, you can do it by just waiting on referrals. But like, your job is the chief salesperson in your business. Even if you hate the idea of sales, I hate the idea of sales, right? Especially when I didn't know what it was and didn't know what it looked like. I'm not saying you have to become that person that's pushy and awful. That's not sales. That's like low skilled sales, right? What I mean is you're thinking about, how do I drive sales in this business? Who do I need to talk to? What events do I need to host? What events do I need to go to? Who do I need to have on the team? What is the VA doing? You know, what are those things? Like, client acquisition is, and this goes in order, right? So you have speed, which means you focus and you do the right things. You just quick the client acquisition. You do all the other stuff you need to do. You're on client acquisition. Client acquisition makes you more money, which that lets you do A, right? That lets you find A team hires. You do not get an A player as a stagnant business that can't afford anything more than $2,000 a month in payment. Like, that's not the A player combination, right? So if you want to get A players, you need to have A player payment ability. And you just, you know, there's 2 ways you can do that. You can get a loan, stupid, or you can get your clients to pay you for that, smart, right? And I think I want to spend a second on A players. Like, these all go together, right? It's like when you get A players, then you get leverage. Then when you have leverage and it's not focusing your labor, you have an engine that runs without you, but like staying on A, right? You'll know you have an A team player when, first of all, you cannot believe they work for you. And the second thing is, you'd consider quitting the business if they quit working for you, right? That's what an A team player is. And even, it's like you can try to define it, but until you've had an A player on your team, you don't know what an A player is. You think B players are A players. Go for it, Rod.
You always know when I want to talk, and if I don't, I'll forget it, and I'll think about it.
You got to get it out there.
But it's like, I always look at A players, B players, C players is like red light, green light, yellow light, or red light, green light, yellow light. And it's like, if that person came to me that day and said they were quitting, would I be just so sad? Would I be just mortified to hear that? Would I cry secretly the rest of that night? Well, that's a A player. That's someone I just cannot fathom not working for me. Mm-hmm. Am I just kind of like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I wish you the best. It might be a yellow light for me. I might be on the middle ground on that. Or if they come to me and say that, I'm like, oh, thank goodness. All right. No, all the best to you. Then that was a red light. And how did I let that go on that long? Should be the question then to myself. So it's like, sometimes I always like to play that. Like, okay, if they came to me and said this, what would I feel? Yeah. And my reaction to that kind of gives me an idea of that. And you want every single person on your team to be that. You know, here at REPP, if anyone came to us on the team and said that, I think I would fall to my knees in the middle of a grocery store if someone said that with the team we have now. So it's like we feel like we've built A players within REPP, and it can take precision to get to that, to be fair. It's
not an accident when you do it. I mean, I would say it's very much the opposite of an accident, what we've spent time doing, Rod. It's been very deliberate, and it's not, even when you know an A player, you hire 3 people, you think they're A players, 1 is. This is a process or refinement you go through to get A players. And one thing I wanted to bring up, Darlene, appreciate the honesty, and I'm glad you said this, because
I'd hire you, Darlene. Come on now.
There you go. In order to have A players on your team, you cannot be a B player. Like you just, and that doesn't mean you have to wake up and jump in the cold plunge and scream at yourself in the mirror for 2. That's
Eli's routine, apparently.
That's only for me. I don't do that actually quite at all, especially the screaming in the mirror. But it's like what makes an A team want to work for you is that they see an A level opportunity in the future, and they will see that in the future when they know they have someone as a leader who is capable of building a business that can support their dreams, right? And they see a future in. And so, what's the number one trait that drives an A player crazy? There's two. The first one, I was going to say speed because that's really important. But the first one is you put an A player on a team with 8 other B players. They will leave so fast, it's ridiculous. So if you're in that 25K stage and you already have a team, like if you have someone on the team that when Rod said it, you're like, they'd be a red light. I wouldn't be so mad if they quit. They're gone. You have to replace them. Like A player will not be around B players. They will also not be around a leader who does not execute with speed. Speed is
tired
like,
of it.
They get tired. It's like, I mean, we talked about that, Rod. You've been in different businesses in the past, not to throw anybody under the bus, but it drove you crazy when small things took forever to get done.
Oh man, it was last straw for dude, I don't want to say it publicly. We're not really public. It's kind of private in here. But yeah, no, they took them 6 months to change a typo on something at one point. And I was like, all right, I'm out of here. We moving too slow. No, so yeah, y'all, you that's just such a good point. To attract the A players, you got to be the A player. So that's
and you're again, this is not a character trait. This is like a skill set. Like I used to not feel like an A player. This is not like it's not a rah, like scream at yourself, like, change your skin type thing. It's like, just stop telling yourself things that aren't true and start doing the things you know you need to do. Like this, and again, not picking on you, but like I'm the master of procrastination. Don't tell yourself that, first of all. But the second thing is procrastination is like the most glorious skill set ever, because like when you say I'm a master of procrastination, what you're telling me is that you wait to get stuff done, but when it's due, you're a maniac and you can get it done so fast. You have that procrastination superpower. I have it too, right? And so it's like, what are you have a certain set of ways you act and you have character traits, and you can use those for you or against you, right? So like, let's take laziness. What does a lazy person have that works against them? Well, they're freaking lazy, right? What do they have that works for them? They're probably good at building systems and not doing things they shouldn't do, right? Like that's like a reframe of laziness. I think a lot of you here need to be more lazy.
You're a delegator. You're just not delegating anything yet.
Yeah.
But you're there. You're pre-gaming for it a little. So I like that. That's good.
And if you're a procrastinator, right? It's like, how can you make that an advantage? Well, you can just start figuring out how to work yourself into due dates. It's like, if you need to hire somebody, I would imagine that like, okay, you're procrastinating on how you're going to pay the person. Like you're going to use Gusto or like ADP or what software. Like my guess is if you got an interview on your, yeah, exactly. Same, John, to be honest.
That is fun. That is funny.
If you have a deadline, like if you hired somebody, you're going to figure out how to pay them. Right? So like do something that puts you in a position where you have to use your superpower of procrastination. Like that's how it goes for me too.
That's what you do. You put, when we're talking about something, you're like, all right, let's get it done at this date. You put it on the calendar, and you have me put it on my calendar. We put it on the calendar, and it's like, all right. And then it's just like, we set that line.
And then all of a sudden the night before, I'm like, I don't want to look like an idiot in front of Rod. Let me whip this out real quick. And then I tell Rod, I'm like, man, I've been working on this for a couple of weeks. I'm excited to have you see it. Yeah, I've been working on it for like 30 minutes.
Really? Okay. That's good to know.
All right.
Oh man, I thought of something here, but it'll come back to me later.
Oh,
it'll come back to me later.
What would you do if I just sat here and waited for you? You'd make up something else. You'd come up with something. That's what we usually do when we forget.
It was something along the. I can't remember. It'll come back to me. Don't worry.
Leverage. Okay, so when you get A team hires, that's what you get, right? Like a lot of you are in the labor stage, and how you know that is if you stop laboring, does the business stop? If so, your labor dependent. But when you get A team players, you get leverage, right? So what leverage obviously means is, you have a lever, right? You make a small input and it changes a big thing. So what does the leverage look like with an A team? Well, you tell somebody, hey, can you go knock out these shoots for me? You put it on their schedule. That's like literally a click of a button and all 4 shoots get done, right? And you trust it. Or if you have someone doing sales for you, you trust it, right? So you're looking for leverage in the business, because 50K a month is not you. 50K a month is the result of having a team, and that moves us on to E, an engine that runs without you, right? Your business needs to be day to day able to run without you at 50K a month. Like right at that level is when it happens. It's usually when you bring in an admin. So your org chart looks like there's you at the top, fancy CEO, and then you have your admin, and your admin is the only person that goes to you directly, right? It's the only person. Maybe if you have a sales VA, they go to you too because you're going to build out like a sales team. But you picture you, and then you have like the admin, and then under the admin is all of the photographers, and then the clients go to the admin. So if a client has a question, they call the admin. If a photographer has a question, they call the admin. If that admin does not know how to properly answer that question, then it goes to you. But ideally, it's not questions on a day-to-day basis. It's like week-to-week basis questions. This is a superpower when you get to this stage, right? Because you're not needed daily, so you can spend way more time. Think about when you first started your business. I know a lot of you were in launch. Think about how fast you grew in launch when you're going from 0 to like 10K a month. A lot of you grew really, really fast, and it's because you didn't have shoots on your calendar. It wasn't taking up all your time. You get that again at 50K a month when you hire that admin, or between 40 and 50. The difference is you get it with a team and a lot of leverage, and it doesn't go away. You just keep being able to do stuff that makes the team busier, which is amazing. And so think about this, right? Like this is the frame. It's like, what does it start with? It starts with speed. What are you doing? You're getting enough clients so you can get an A team hire. And here's a hint. If you're already doing 15 to 25K a month, you just need a photographer that's an A player, right? You can already afford it. You did enough client acquisition. You get that photographer. What are you doing? You're immediately trying to get more client acquisition done so you can get a second photographer. And then when you fill them up, more client acquisition, second photographer. That's the repeat. So you're taking speed, converting it into clients, and then converting the money from those clients into A team hires. And then that A team hire is what gives you leverage, right? And that's what gives you the engine that runs without you. So it's like, that's the workflow that you're going through. The traps of this are you're busy. So again, you have to force yourself. And that's why I brought up cost at the start of this, is you have to force yourself to do something that is hard to fit in, is new to you, and it would be you'd have a much easier, and you'd feel more satisfied at the end of the day if you just did the normal stuff. You just went to the shoots. You've like, we all get checklist dopamine. It's like, all right, my email's cleared out, right? I answered that person. My texts are all there. Like I have no notifications. That feeling can either drive you to be great or drive you to feel comfortable where you're at. But the comfort where you're at is usually a very temporary comfort, because you can build the business you want. And it's great to have a decent paying job, which is what everybody has, doing between 10 and 20K a month. But you could go get that in a corporate job and probably work less, right? Like, what is it, 200K a year corporate job, 150K? Like, it's doable. Sure, you have to be pretty good at it, but I'd imagine you're pretty good if you built a business that can do 20K. Like, you could find a business that would pay you that, and you'd probably work less. So it's like, awesome. Well, you'd also have PTO and stuff too, right? So you'd actually have a lot of things that you actually have a lot more potentially in a high level corporate job. So it's like, okay, we got to push past that, right? Like, you start getting to the 50K to 100K months, you get a life that you can't get in a traditional corporate job. You get more location flexibility if that's your goal. You get more income. It's not tied to how many hours you work. You own an asset. We're in the process of launching something really cool at REPP because you can sell these businesses, right? You can sell your real estate media business. You can't get that when not to twist the knife, so to speak, where you guys are all at now. But like, you can't sell your business doing 15K a month. No one will really buy that. I mean, they might buy it for like 25 grand. That's not going to help you. But you start being able to sell it for 3 times your yearly profit and add backs on top of that. So if you have a business that does 200K in profit, I mean, it's a $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 asset, and so I guess the big picture, and then we'll dive into some Q&A. We'll pull in, I think David's up first, do some Q&A with him about, things he ran into and traps. But just really think about that. Like, it is worth it to push to that next stage. If it's something that's in your head, right? And it's in your head because you registered for an event, and I put a lot of questions on an application because it filters people out. It's like, you went through the application, you showed up live, like, you want that. So don't try to convince yourself you don't. But 2, just know that I think it's a worthwhile goal. And it's just fun to see people hit that. You get to hear from David, and doesn't mean your business is perfect. And, what is it? Sunshine and rainbows, the quote at that. There's still problems in the business, but man, it's like, the best problems to have are the ones that come with a better paycheck, at least if you ask me, and more freedom and, you know, achieving what you wanted to achieve. Let's do some Q&A. How do you turn this slideshow off? There you go. All right.
Are you saying that if everyone builds their business to that level, they'll be able to have the beautiful view that you have behind you? Are you just chilling on your
My
bird?
hotel.
The business is running in a completely other state on automation.
Nice. Come on now.
I mean, that is nice. It looked fake, but you know, I know it's
not
real.
a Zoom background. I promise you.
Oh, that's nice. Happy birthday again. I don't know if I said it to you or had everyone in the community say it from multiple angles yet
thank
today.
you.
Oh, wait, did I? Oh, yeah, I did.
My 30th. I'm in a new decade now. So.
Is it really your wait a minute. Did I didn't. Man, I should have went extra hard. Now I feel like an idiot.
I didn't blast it out there, but
all right. They got balloon companies there where you're at, I imagine. Okay, good to know.
Now I'm an adult. I have to take it seriously. You know, I have to.
Well, welcome to knee pain.
Thank you. I do have knee pain a little bit.
So. You're already there? Yeah, you're practicing already. Good job.
All right, let's get some questions here. Speaking of knee pain. All right. Now I have to be careful which question I pick, because if I say speaking of knee pain, then I pick someone's question, they're going to wonder why I was speaking of knee pain. Anyway, my biggest hurdle is client acquisition. I'm a tiny town of 11,000 people. I'm the only professional real estate photographer in town. What city are you in, Marco? I mean, you know,
growing in Canada, wasn't it? Somewhere in Canada.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. I don't know why it sounds right, but it does. You may just truthfully have to look at other cities. You know, it's like part of what growth is. Every time you see a hurdle, your thought process needs to be like, all right, there's nothing off the table that I can do to solve this. What's going to be the easiest thing? Not the easy thing, the easiest thing. And so it's like, if you feel like truly you're tapped out in that market, look at another market. If you feel like you say a lot of agents are still used to relying on themselves, is that something you can change? Can you do more free shoots again, more aggressively? Like, what are the variables you can control, and which of them do you think gives you the highest likelihood of success? And then you just attack it. You know, don't let any problem make you. Sometimes, I think a lot of times when we feel problems in our business, we let them be used as a reason why we shouldn't try. Because you try to make yourself feel comfortable with why you're not doing something, and so that's where the uncomfort comes in. It's like, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from opening a branch in every single market in Canada if that's where you are, right? Should you do that right now? Absolutely not. Should you find one that's maybe the good move? Sure, right? But like, don't limit yourself. You know, there's not a problem that anybody can say here that plenty of other people have not solved in their real estate media business. So just attack it from that framework of like, all right, I have to solve this. I have no choice. How can I? Yeah, here's another good one. My photographer now, sadly, is not 18. Clients still want me after he did their shoot. Yes, you have to, you know, there's a balance to this one. Is it like, why do clients still want you? Did you not train him well? Is he truly not an A player? So like, again, break that down in your mind and just really try to and I know you're not saying this, I'm just approaching everything from this frame. Don't just accept. If you're going to accept something, make a change on it instantly. If that makes sense. You said, yeah, I critique him every weekend. He's gotten a lot better. Yeah, 6 months is too long.
She's like a B.5. That's a B.5 right there. B.5.
Still a B.
Not quite A, but you're right close. Here's one from Venezuela. I had 2 contractors who quit and started their own RE business or real estate media business in the last year. How can you trust a new hire?
You need to really do some. First of all, hello. It's good to see you. You need to really do some thinking about why they did that, because that's rare to have that happen. And that tells me something wasn't right in your business. And you have a unique experience having used to work for somebody that had a business where you quit. So think about why you quit and what you would need to do to create the opportunity for someone to want to stay in your business. Like, are you acting as the A player? Do they see their vision fitting within your vision? Did you hire? Maybe you just hired wrong, right? Like, that's the problem with contractors a little bit sometimes, especially if they've already shot real estate, is they're like, they want to build their own business. And so it's easier to want to hire them because you're like, man, they're already kind of trained. Like, they already know what they're doing, but maybe it's hard long-term, right? So at Norman & Young, we look for people who are great at customer service. They don't want a business. They just want a good job. And we're willing to put the work in to train them. So that's how I would think about it.
Jerry's got one. Shout out, Jerry.
Jerry.
Other than team meetings, the CEO will only mostly communicate with the admin and not too much of the photographers.
Yeah, on a daily basis, that's correct, Jerry. Depending on the size of your business, you know, if you're doing like 60, 70K, you're still talking to the photographers a lot. but it's probably more like you're just helping them be better rather than like, what's the lockbox code, if that makes sense. So you'll still talk with them, but usually only if there's like issues that the admin just escalates up to you.
Mariah's got a good one too. How do you not feel bad about taking time off from the business? I always feel like I should be working. If I'm not, I feel like I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I think for any of us that build businesses, we probably struggle with that more than the average person. I think there's no requirement to take time off, right? So it is truly about what you want, but I don't think a lot of us think about what we want enough. We think about what our clients want. And so for me, it starts with, am I working because I want to do this and I'm excited about growing the business, or am I working because I feel like I have to, because my clients are on me? If it's, I have to, I mean, that is a skill set you have to build, but it is one of the big perks of owning a business is, you get to decide a lot of that, and, you're working for money, and then you use that money to get optionality in your life. And so I think, in your case, Mariah, like if you want to take some time off, you just got to do it. Just put it, just like anything, put it on the calendar, make it happen. And definitely don't feel bad about it. I mean, that's the whole point.
It's like a two-step process almost. One is knowing your numbers, knowing your KPIs, so when you're done for the day. Because it could be like if you're talking about taking time off at night, like individual kind of time off. Well, it's just knowing your numbers enough to know that you hit the day you're supposed to do. Yeah. And then you can kind of just subconsciously put the business down and go, it's okay if I don't work on the business. I did what I needed to do today. So having those clear daily and weekly KPIs that you're hitting. It could be like with the holidays coming up and taking off for the holidays and visiting family. And as a business owner, and you can start to be like, all right, I'm visiting family. How much is that going to cost me to the dollar to visit this family? So you don't want to. So what helps me in that regard is know when time is going to be taken off. And then if I know my numbers well enough, I might crank up each day by 10% and then get ahead of the game mathematically to a point where when the time off comes, I can be off. And I know that I've jumped ahead a little bit prior. So if I want to be off, it's okay. I've done the extra work prior to be off, and I deserve to be off now. And then it helps me to be in the moment with family and not be thinking about the dollars I might be missing. Now I made up for it before or after. So if you plan for it ahead, it's not like the first week you're pounding out. Like if you're going to take off in a month, crank it up whatever X% each day before that. So when that time comes, you're like, all right, I'm good to go. And it won't be felt as much. So I think a lot of times you can use the math to help the feelings later, I guess is what I'm saying. So
yeah, no,
that's a great question, right? Because especially now with the times, that's going to be a big feeling for a lot of people. So I'm glad you asked that, to be fair. So,
and we got the takeaways I'm going to hit real quick. Then we're going to bring in Tyler, who's up first. But man, I wanted to say something. Oh, the other thing is, get used to the skill of going on a trip, because there is nothing that changes your frame of mind more than getting out of your day-to-day environment. Like Mariah, for you, I think the best business move, if you've been thinking about taking time off, the best business move is to take time off. Like get to a new area. That's why I was complaining about Texas last week. Rod knows about this. I was like, why am I living here? It's freezing cold
and rainy.
And I was driving with Cassidy, and I was like, let's just go to Florida. Like, what? Like, we can control this, right? Let's go to Florida for a little bit. And I'm here, and it's like I'm like excited. I have all these new things I want to do. Like I know that there's something I've been needing to do. I need to do tomorrow. I'm working on a presentation. It's like I have the energy to attack it. And so sometimes that's the best thing you can do, right? Oh, nice, Mariah. Enjoy.
Oh, fun. Very good.
Okay, so here's some takeaways, and then we'll get to Mr. Tyler here. If you keep solving only what you're good at, your business won't grow as fast or as peacefully as you want it to. It'll just be chaos and slow growth, which is like a 1-2 punch of death. Number 2, if you stay in the dead zone, you will feel dead. Approach it with a plan. So that's 20 to 50K a month. Hit that stage. You want to get through it as fast as possible. No messing around. If you're in forward with us now, treat it seriously. Talk to your coach about how you want to move through that phase. 20 to 50K, don't hang out there. It's not the place to be. If you're not in forward with us, I mean, what can I tell you besides you should be in forward with us? But that's a different story. Attack this phase. There is the biggest, someone posted it a minute ago, and I'd pull it up if I saw it, but I don't right now. And it's, should I pay down debt or hire my next photographer? The biggest debt that all of us have is the business that we could own that we don't own. And there's a frame a lot of people talk about. Hormozy kind of made it popular, but it's the opportunity cost frame. It's like if you're doing 20K a month and you want to be at 50K, you have your debt is $30,000 a month. Like that is the debt that you have to aggressively pay down, right? And the worst part is consider it like 20 to 50K is like high interest debt. It's like the least kind of good debt. So you want to just grind through that stage. And then takeaway 3 is, use scale to help you think about and prioritizing your business and not become bottlenecks. Remember, this is not an acronym that you do separately. It's an acronym that one allows the others to happen. So speed allows you to spend time getting client acquisition because you're clearing up time to do stuff and you're doing the stuff that matters. When you do client acquisition, you get money. You can hire 18 people. When you hire 18, blah, 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 right? But like, that's the name of the game. So if you screenshotted anything, screenshot this one right there. And think about that. And I want you to actually feel bad about every day where you just do shoots and that's it. Because we need the pain of where you are now to be less than the pain of getting to where you want to be. All right. Let's see. I think Tyler is here. He's in the waiting room. He was early because he's in control of his time. Tyler, welcome in. What's going on? Good to see you, dude.
Welcome in, man.
Oh, you're muted. He's unmuted. He found
Happy birthday, Eli.
Oh, thank you, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for being on here. I appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all.
All right. So here's my questions for you. Yeah. Just please get them right, sir. You can't let me down as a 50K a month.
Yeah, no pressure or anything,
no
right?
Pressure. No worries. No worries.
Yeah, can you do like a 30-second intro to your business, like where you're at, how long you've been doing this, that kind of stuff, actually?
Do you have a mic?
I do have a mic.
Oh, it's not on it.
On the bottom, because I know that bad boy looks crispy. StreamYard does this, so it's not you, it's them. Okay. On the bottom, there's that little gear. And then click the settings and then go to audio. And then in the mic, you might have to pick that fancy good one because StreamYard's weird. It picks the least quality one by default for some reason.
Somehow it does.
That's how it feels.
No, we can't hear you.
Sadly. It's off now. No, it's okay. We got to have some technical stuff on these because these are live. So that's part of the fun.
It's more fun, actually, if you think about it.
Eli, do a happy birthday. Everyone sing happy birthday to Eli on your own, in your room, awkwardly to your screen. If there's anyone around you, just play into it. Sing happy birthday to Eli right here, right now.
Nothing yet, Tyler.
We'll give them 45
seconds. The other
mic
wasn't that bad. I mean, it was just...
it wasn't that bad, to be fair. If you go back to the other one, we'll be good.
That one.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, so just hit like a 30-second intro, like that kind of thing.
Absolutely. I'm Tyler. I own Film Crystal River. Go follow me on Instagram at Film Crystal River. We got a team we're at like 9 people in total now. So 4 photographers, 2 VAs, a video editor, and an admin. So yeah, we got a full squad these days. I started under 3 years ago, and like my day-to-day today is just managing the team, making sure we're all doing good, going to team workshops, doing our team meetings, and just going to meet clients and stuff like that. So that's really the name of the game nowadays. So yeah.
You have like the most respectful way possible, a very traditional business structure, which is good. Like you have your VA team, you have an admin, like that's what you guys are kind of working towards building that are listening here. So, all right, I want to go through and ask some questions on each of these. What do you feel like you didn't act speedy enough on as you were building the 50K? What are some things that you just didn't do well speed-wise?
I think that's a good question.
Like, did you resist hiring too long? Did you like...
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So hiring-wise, I definitely didn't hire my VA as quickly as I should have. I could have hired them sooner. I felt like, I don't remember the exact like number amount I was at, but I remember holding off on it a long time because I didn't want to have to pay anybody anything to do anything, which was huge for me once I unlocked that. Really, I kept coming up with this idea that it's just a $5 task. All these things I'm doing, it's just a $5 task. And as I'm doing that kind of just like, I was like, all right, I got to get this off my plate. And then the same thing happened when I hired photographers. I realized, it was a $30 task, and I'm like, man, we could really get this going to other people and get some more people involved. So, yeah, I didn't hire quick enough. I felt like in the beginning, I waited for photographers too. I was doing about 20K solo, doing about 90 shoots a month by myself. And I was super overwhelmed and burnt out, and made my first hire quickly. And, I learned a lot from that first hire as well. So I'm sure we'll get into that too. But yeah, there's a lot of learning lessons along the way, especially if you're quick, right? Like quick decisions and, that whole speed theory, like success favors speed or something like that. And I feel like you have to react quickly, but you have to be quick to course correct and like fix little mistakes and like, because it's going to happen. The quicker you judge stuff and jump into things, the quicker you're going to have to fix little mistakes and stuff. So
I love the way you put that, as far as you realizing what you were paying, what you would be paying someone else to do the task, and asking yourself almost like, would I pay myself to do that? No. All right, let's get someone else to do that.
Right.
And I like how you kind of looked at that from that perspective, to kind of have that light bulb moment of the math of like, okay, let's get someone to do this so I can focus on the bigger things on which I should be focusing on. So
yeah,
I like that.
this makes sense now. All of a
Yeah.
sudden.
There's this a phrase like majoring in the minors or whatever, and I think it's really easy when you're a solo photographer to be like the freaking best VA, and it's like great. But the thing is, when a VA works for those wages, everything in their life is 10 times cheaper because they live in a place in the world where it's just a different cost of living. So it's like you're just playing the wrong game. You have to look for the leverage, and that's a hard one to do. But that's where everybody gets kind of in that loop where they're like really good at stuff that they shouldn't be doing, which makes it harder to not want to do it because it's like,
I can only do it this way because I do it like this or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. It's like, I think about it kind of like this. It's like playing basketball against a bunch of like kindergartners. Like of course you're good at it, but like it doesn't like, and it feels good because you win every day. You're like, this is easy, and then it's like
just dominating.
Yeah, but the harder thing to do is coach kindergartners, and that's what you kind of have to move into. But it's like it produces more for you in the business.
Good analogy, as funny as it was at first. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Go from playing against them to coaching them.
Let's talk about 18.
You're 30. You're 30 now, and coming up with these like profound analogies today. Like you're on it today, man.
Someone's got to do it. 18 players. I'm sure you made some hiring mistakes. Talk about that and like, what does it mean to have an 18 player? What do they look like? That sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's really in all the questions you ask during the interviews and like even the questions on the applications and just like weeding out I don't want to say crappy people, but that's the best way I can put it. It's like, depending on answers of questions is how I figure out like where their mindset is with stuff. Like when I'm interviewing people, I always ask them why they're leaving their last job or what it was. Cause if they start talking trash about their last job, that's like a huge red flag. Right. So different things along those lines. I'd like to think that there's a little bit of luck involved in finding the 18 players, because it's not a guarantee you're going to post your listing and you're going to have all these 18 players flood in. I feel like it definitely took me some searching and some interviews to get there. And, in the last few years, I've had 8 photographers in total, and we only have 4 on the staff. So we definitely have gone through trying to perfect our team. So, it's just all ebb and flow. I mean, some mistakes I made was not expressing expectations. Like, that's super huge. And not even just like expectations on site and stuff like that, but expectations in like what the job entails and like how many hours and how long you're going to be in your car and what the pay's like. And I'm just like so upfront and open about it. Like I don't let them get 5 minutes into my interview without them knowing everything about the job and making sure they're on the same page as us. So I've learned a ton for sure.
Yeah, I like that you said the 8 photographers, but you have 4, because it's hiring is guessing, firing is knowing is a quote that I like, and I think that's really true. And you have to be like, what does that involve, right? It involves you being willing to actually just get on and hire somebody and make a decision despite not knowing all the data. That's hard for a lot of people. It also means that you have to have the skill set of knowing, hey, this person's not the right person. Everybody has that skill set. The skill set we don't have, that I didn't have, is then doing something about it. Like you're not, you own the business, you're in control of it. And for me, I just kind of was like, oh, this sucks that we have this guy. I'm like, dude, I'm the business owner. Who am I talking to? Like, it's my decision that every day this person shows up is me saying, you're like, a frame I think about is every day you just basically rehire everybody every day. And so if you like wouldn't rehire somebody, like don't have them show up the next day, it's like, that's the frame.
That's good.
Man, he's deep with his wisdom today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
listen, I'm old now. I'm 30. What can I say? First of all, I appreciate this shout out down here.
Yeah, Jared's. I mean, we gotta put up Jared's rep talent plug right there while we're at it. Come on now.
We also got to cut off Tyler while he's talking. Anyway, go for it.
Sorry.
I'm sure I lost my train of thought too.
We had a talent plug we had to go for. Sorry.
I definitely the thing I tell my team all the time too, like not when I'm like necessarily reprimanding them, but like letting them know they did something wrong. I'm always going into there open and honest and just being like, hey, the bigger problem here would be me not telling you the issue at hand, and like making sure we're not correcting it and doing something active to fix the problem. I always kind of lead with that and let them know like, hey, the bigger mistake would be me not telling you that this is an issue, right? So I always tell myself that too, so I don't get scared and not go to tell them.
Yeah.
So something else I've learned over the time.
What do you think? I like how you have to tell yourself that too, because I do that. I have to like psych myself up to give someone feedback. Yeah. That's like my greatest weakness. What would you say like what's your greatest weakness, or what's something that's caused you pain or challenges as you've scaled your business?
Pain or challenges? Dang. I mean, just like I said before, not expressing expectations, because if your employees expect something totally opposite of what's actually going to happen, there's a big issue there. So that's one thing. Things I did wrong. I feel like there's like such a big list of things I did wrong, but like trying to figure them out is like pretty difficult. But I could say like there's much more, like the things I did wrong, I feel like they're great lessons learned, but also I put them to the side, if that makes sense. Like just keep grinding on like what's working well. So like in that sense, like I definitely have a ton of things I've done wrong, but it's for conversation.
No, it makes sense. It's just like
a good point in itself is like, you probably didn't dwell too long on those things. That's why it's not just on the forefront of your mind right now. It's just like, oh man, it's like you push through it and it's kind of in the wind now. And I think that's also a point in itself, actually, that you don't have like, well, let me tell you, I got a whole list. It's just like it's part of the grind. You push through, keep on rolling.
Puts it in the bottom drawer and closes that thing, never looks at it again.
I mean, there's a lot to it. I mean, just like from the beginning to now, there's so many like lessons I've learned. And even like in our team meetings, we come in every week and my teams, like we always do like wins and lessons learned. And so like, even like that's a part of our, team culture now is like, we all make sure everybody knows like lessons we've learned. So we're not all making the same mistakes. So those things go a long way too.
Was there a spot that you plateaued at for a little bit? Because I imagine there's a lot in here at a stuck spot, like and it's going to be a different scenario for everyone on how they get unstuck from said spot. But for you, like, was there a revenue, per month that you hit that you were just at forever that you can remember? And maybe there's some like why you were stuck and how you got unstuck that you could share on?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So I would say between the 20 and 30K mark, it felt like everything to get through that. And I think it really because of the fact that I tried to fire myself as soon as possible. That was like, I joined coaching and I was like, man, I just need to get rid of myself on the field as quickly as possible. So I started hiring photographers. And at that point, it was the photographers I was bringing on. They were awesome and helping me tremendously. But I just feel like we weren't getting where we needed to go because I didn't have the right staff. So like I brought on one photographer, but that didn't replace me yet. I brought on two. Still, we just were hitting the same metrics we were hitting before. Like they were just able to do the 90 shoots I was doing. But once I finally brought on a third part-time photographer is when like my revenue peaked off, like started to grow again because we had
the third is the magic hire, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
It's always that way. It's so funny because like you hire one and you're like, you almost feel busy.
Where's the piece? Where's the piece everyone talks about?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like two it fully gets you out from shooting usually, except for emergencies. And why it takes two to replace you, it just is what it is, And the third one.
Because y'all are beasts.
Did you notice this? I swear this happens every time. But like when you hire photographers, does your business just grow to fit them every time?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Investment, right?
But it's like I don't know why it happens. It's just like,
wait, what did you say, Tyler? I think I missed. What did you say?
Just you like the investment put in, like it's like so funny. Right. As you make that investment in the photographer, all of a sudden they start filling up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to tell you all four of my photographers are maxed out all the time because that is not true. Not this month.
No, nobody's maxed out in December. Yeah. We're all wishing we were maxed out, but what? All right. So most people here, I mean, pretty much everybody here is doing between, let's say, 8 on the low end and 25K on the high end, with the average being like 15. There's a lot of 15s. I did a lot of talking about how bad it is going from 20 to 50 and just like how you don't want to stay in that phase. But there's obviously a lot of good. And like, yeah, I mean, do you like your business better now than when you're doing 15K? Like, what's better about your life now? Like on a real note.
On a real note, the freedom is insane. I could take off the next week and everything will be okay. Everything will still get taken care of. Nobody will be that upset, or I mean, I might have to come back and put out a fire or two, but it's nothing that can't wait till next week type thing. So I think that's the biggest thing for me. Obviously, like the financial part of it and all those things are awesome as well. But I think it's a freedom to be able to do what I want. And then I would say the other part of it is the team. I love like leading my team and just encouraging them to do better and be great. Like, I mean, today I had photographers wrapping gifts with some agents because we were slow. And then I had my admin out doing like a sponsorship, like lunch and learn thing. And it was fantastic. So, and I got to coach I got to go on a couple coaching calls. So that's what I did today.
Yeah, we're excited on that end. It's like what Tyler's coaching in forward for us, which is cool. So that's how he proves that he has a little bit of extra time.
Like, what do I do with all this time? I'll coach people, hang out.
It is objectively, I understand what you said. And when everybody here builds a team, you'll understand it is really fun working with a team once you start to like get the right team too.
Especially ones that wrap. You said they were helping an agent wrap gifts.
Yeah, so we're like at the local resource center, like wrapping gifts for like local churches and stuff like that, like helping like some of the youth out with some Christmas gifts. But one of the brokerages we work with invited us out, and I was like, hey, well, we don't have any shoots that day. Let's send out 2 photographers and go pay them to go wrap gifts and have fun. So it was nice to provide them some hours too in the middle of a slow week. So
yeah, nice. I guess, was it worth it scaling? Like, I mean, obviously I think the answer is yes, but like, I think a lot of people here want to, but we need to have the pain of them. Here's, don't tell anybody this here, Tyler, just between you, me, and Rod. They need to be so in pain about where they're at currently that they just make 50K plus happen.
Yeah.
And so was it worth it?
Absolutely. I would do it the exact same way again and learn all the same crappy lessons I had to learn, but it was absolutely worth it. I mean, just like having the team to reach out to and like collaborate with and talk about, and like, I mean, I have people on my team now that actually want the business to grow and things to happen inside of it. It's not just me like painting this picture and hoping things happen, right? Like there's things happening in my business that I'm not even a part of, and it's going to grow us. So it's just like crazy. Yeah.
It's the best. It's so much more fun than being solo too. And it's so much more fun than having like a small team. It's like you start getting like 3, 4, or 5 people. It starts to get really fun, honestly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we have 10 minutes until David comes in. Let's do some Q&A. So drop your questions in the chat that you have for Tyler, and we'll jump in there. Yeah, that's it. You got to put them in the chat. And here we are until then.
You got me.
I'm good, Chris. Mission successful. Sorry about the pain, but like, I'm grateful.
Yeah, Chris is in all my group calls, so he's definitely going to talk about next year for sure.
The nice thing is, on a serious note, I said this earlier, but it's like, it's so true. If you're already at 15K a month, like you can get to 50K in 2026. It's not that much different than going from 1 to 15. It's just different things you have to do, but you already have, like, just doubling would be to 30, right? So it's like, can we more than double? Yes, because you have momentum already. You have people who trust you. You have clients you can ask for referrals. All right, let's see. Here we go. What is your training process for new photographers?
It's changed since the first one, that's for sure. I mean, our process is pretty simple overall. Once we hire them, we give them 2 weeks to pass their drone test. We provide them with the Pilot Institute course and let them go ahead and swing for the fences on that, and hopefully they pass it. Once they do pass it, we start them off. Their training is $20 an hour, and we start off with a day in a coffee shop, just like 2 hours long. We go over everything from like our employee handbook and everything in there to what services we provide and what they look like when they're finished. And then we'll go into like setting them up on all of our softwares and systems. And then after that, they start what we call our like 10,000 foot overview. So they basically, we train for 3 days, like back to back at like for 3 hour sessions at vacant houses with like our training photographer now. And so they will just really get in-depth training, ask any questions, no pressure on time type thing. And then the next 3 weeks, they just shadow with another photographer. And after that, they're normally good to go.
Yeah. I like that you talked about the 3 hour blocks and everything is kind of shorter. One of the mistakes I made is I would just do a marathon of an 8 hour training session. They wouldn't remember anything after the first 2 hours.
Yeah,
So,
my first photographer learned that mistake.
yeah. Like, I'm really going to, they come back the next day and you're like, did you listen to anything? And they're like, no, you maxed me out. Do you have any sort of like, do you follow up with current clients? Do you have a VIP program? Like, what do you do on that side of things?
All those things. The name of the game is relationships. So if you're not following up, you're leaving money on the table. So like new clients, we have a cadence for every part of the process, right? So like VIP clients, we're staying in touch with them every 6 weeks and just like touching base with them. And then new clients, as soon as they book, we get a notification on Slack, and then we immediately give them a call, thank them for the opportunity, see if they have any questions. We do a pre-shoot call, a post-shoot call, and then we also reach out 30 days after and just make sure everything's good, and that ends their new client journey. And then we have, lost and, people we need to reactivate, we'll reach out to, and we have a whole system for everything.
Yeah.
Y'all some hunters.
No,
in there, it sounds like.
Tyler, it's always the people that are making money that do the post-shoot call. That's one of the things I'm just on about the last year. I'm like, call them after the shoot.
You know, it's funny. I never used to. I got an admin. I'm like, hey, we better be calling after.
Yeah.
That is good. I'm glad you mentioned all that though, because it is, it's as your business grows, not so much at 20, 30, but like if you start getting 40, 50, 60, 70, it's like churn becomes a real thing. And so locking down your systems ahead of that becoming a big problem is important. Let's see.
Logan's got a question. At what point did you add the videographer?
Videographer. I was the videographer at the beginning, so right away.
JK. I didn't know if that was specifically to you. If they knew you got a videographer recently or something.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my first photographer was around 20K, and as soon as they're able to get on their own, they can do all basic services.
Video on everything, and video included.
Mm-hmm. So they can do all state services by the time they're on their own, is the expectation. And it's been nice because I just kind of feed them to the wolves and I let them make their mistakes and we, fix and course correct, So
that's good.
Yeah.
Seems like you're quick. Like the first day they start training to the point where they're fully like comfortable. It's how long is that, would you say?
1 month.
1 month?
Yeah.
Tyler likes the first one at scale speed. It's,
yeah.
Nice.
Better rip that Band-Aid off.
Yeah. So
here's a good question for Marco. What is a reasonable pay for a VA and what structure per day, per week, per booking?
Yeah.
How do you do yours?
$5 an hour. I've started a VA out at $4.50 an hour and then gave them a 50-cent raise in 6 months to the $5. But hourly rate's the best way to do it. And then I just pay them weekly.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me ask a question that's not on here that I want to ask because it's kind of along the lines of like we talked about speed going to client acquisition. What's been your approach to getting clients, or what do you think is most effective for you in your business?
So it's funny you mentioned that. I have been like, as our admin's calling like pre-shoot calls, we're asking where they found out about us, trying to get that metric that we never got.
Yeah.
So we've been tracking that, and majority of it's word of mouth and referrals, which is cool and all, but it doesn't really tell me where my marketing efforts are going in a sense. Cause every one of those people that said that, we've also offered them a free shoot, whether it's, and we've poked the bear many times to try to get them to work with us. So it just takes, Billy at their brokerage to let them know about it and we're good to go.
It's all the touch points we have on the rep side. We use this software called Hyros that's pretty cool, but it tracks a customer's journey, and it's taught me a lot just in general about business that applies to Norman and Young and everything. But it's just so interesting to see someone watched this video and then they watched this and then they opted in here and they did this and then they did this and then they saw this. It's like client acquisition. Yes, sometimes you make an outbound call, you get a customer, right? But like if you do everything, like it works together into this web of like they don't even know how they found you. They found you. And that's like what happens, which is pretty interesting. All right. I guess kind of a final question for you. What do you think, like, I mean, I guess it really is just like, what's your advice for someone doing 15K a month right now that wants to get to 50K in 2026?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is like whatever you're doing is obviously working. So you just need to do more of that. Like really easy to get distracted by all the other little things you can add on and do this and that, branding sessions. And I just feel like there's something you do exceptionally well. You could do a lot of that and make a lot of money doing that. So that's my first thing. I feel like the second thing I would hit on is delegation's essential. And like you can never like grow to where you want to be if you have to wear every hat. Like it's just impossible to do it. So getting those off your head as quick as possible and passing them out to people who are better than you. That's like the thing about hiring A players is hire people who are better than you. And that's how I look at it.
Great answer. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate your time as always. And yeah, I'm grateful to have you coaching for REPP as well. And a lot of students are excited to work with you and appreciate you.
Yeah, seriously. If one of your students is if you're being coached by Tyler right now,
have you had any
comment in the
assigned yet,
chat.
Tyler? Maybe a couple?
Wait.
I had 2 get assigned to me so far.
If you're in here, show yourself. If you're one of the two.
I haven't seen the
we need to fill that up quick. Y'all, come on. If you're not in coaching right now and you want Tyler as a coach, let us know right this way.
Well, thank you, Tyler. Have a good rest of your evening and appreciate you as always, sir.
Have a good one. Much love to the chat.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Amazing.
Next up, I can see them backstage. And
they're smiling already. I see
them backstage, which is like the most exciting part of this. So I guess I could bring them out on the stage, but it's just more fun to talk about them while they're backstage. So David and Melissa are joining us. Speaking of coaching for us, David's also taken on a few clients, which is exciting. So we're really excited to have him, in that capacity. So it's at a group call. David and Melissa are awesome. They built an amazing business. They've moved quickly. I don't want to put words in their mouth. I think it's been about 2 years. They're nodding. Hold on. Let's just bring them on the stage. This is weird when I'm looking at them, but they're not able to talk. What's going on, guys? Welcome in.
What's up, guys? No, I was enjoying that. You seemed awkward. The more awkward you feel, like
I was like,
get my camera out, record them as well, and
yeah, no pressure.
I was saying something, and I was watching guys like, are they nodding? Okay, I'm on the right track. I'll keep saying it. So anyway, yeah, I give everybody the quick story here. How long you've been in business, that kind of thing.
Yeah. You want to kick it off?
Basically in January will be our 2 years. The first year we tried it like about 6 months by ourselves and then joined coaching. And then I was pregnant at the time. He was still doing his real estate job. And so we were like kind of taking it seriously, but also not. And then after
we sucked. We sucked.
but we were like, we're going to make our own twist on this. Like we know, because we've just been in business together. So we were like, we know what we're doing. Like we just need a little bit of insight and like, yeah. So then when it came time to renew coaching, we were like, you know what? Like if we're being honest, like
we didn't take the first round of coaching as seriously as we should.
Yeah.
Like we were watching recordings, but we weren't jumping on there live to ask questions. And we're very like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And so, yeah, it was January of this year that we're like, we need to stop messing around. We're going to renew coaching. Let's not waste that time or money. And like, let's take this serious.
And you did. I mean, this year was insane. Yeah. So not even 2 years full in the business. You hit the 50K month mark.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Where were y'all at the start of this year? Like January, the start of this year, what was like, I mean, I know it's hard to say with like, obviously December and November right before, but what was your average monthly income starting this year at January, would you say on average?
I think January we did what, 7K?
January we did 7, but I think our highest month before that year, I think was 12. Yeah.
Okay. So from around that range to 50K a month within 11 or within 12
which
months.
Is literally like this group here, David and Melissa, like the average is literally like right on 15K.
Yeah.
And so that's super cool. You guys are like less than them by 3K and you did it. Because I've been, now you didn't make me a liar. Thank you. I've been talking about how they can totally do 50K in 2026. Like that's just, it is doable. It's just not going to be easy. I wanted to, I have some questions that I want to ask you guys, but like, I wanted to point out something ahead of time, which is, well, let me pull this up. This is kind of the acronym we were talking through about what it takes and the things you have to do. And we've talked a lot about how speed is important. I just want to say from my experience with you guys, speed is something that whether you feel it or not, you guys are great at. Like they will come to group calls, they'll ask their question, they'll do it, they'll come back, they'll ask another question, they'll do it. And it's just a fast cycle. And so as you're listening to them, just know that speed, from my perspective, is something they do very well among other things. So yeah, this was kind of the acronym that we're going for. What do you think you guys did really poorly that you could have done better to get to
turn it a 180 real quick?
Too much at once.
You guys were great. What are you terrible at?
What do you suck at? like no, for seriously, so much. And going back to the speed thing, like Eli, you need to give yourself like all the credit there. It was our first round of coaching where we didn't take it seriously. Second round, Eli's like, do this. We're like, don't even think about it. Eli said, do it. So that's how we were able to do things quickly, because we're like, we screwed up the first go. Like, we don't get to make these decisions anymore. Like,
yeah,
Eli's going to build our business for us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really did. I know I just highlighted it, but like, you do take the speed seriously. And I think that's like, if there's any trait that someone can have, coaching or not, just like in their business, it's just, you think of something, you want to do it, and you don't like think about it for 6 more weeks. You just do it.
Yeah. So. And I think that's where like the weakness kind of was, I'd say, why we didn't grow like we probably could, like we did in our first year to our second year, is we spent a lot of time like just getting the advice and doing nothing with it. We knew what we should be doing and we weren't doing it. We knew all the different ways you could prospect clients. We knew all the things we could do to grow our business, and we spent way too much time thinking about it. I'm going to give a shout out to Kevin Salgado, rep coach, who would probably give a shout out to somebody else because he got it from someone else. But he told us, he's like, hey man, in the time it takes you to make one decision, I've made 5. Mm-hmm. And like, that is like, I want to get a tattoo of that on my forehead. You know, like if you're getting outpaced by your competition, it's because you're thinking too hard. Like,
it's interesting because the thinking feels safe because you're like, I mean, I was just making a decision about what we wanted to do, kind of like, with a new thing we're working on in REPP. And I just like spent way too long thinking about it. I actually first thought about it, Rod, how long ago? A year? And it's like, man, it was such an obvious thing. So now I'm like approaching it fast. And that skill continues to pay dividends, right? It's like you learn it when you're first starting your business, but it's what continues to be the thing that makes the biggest difference. I want to talk about team a little bit to change gears. It's impossible to do 50K solo. I mean, some people have gotten close, but that's a different story. It's not fun to do 50K solo. So what has been like, okay, on this list, basically A team hires and just getting good people on your team is a really important part of scaling. What is that? Like, what is an A team player to you guys?
So normally, sometimes when we look at like our applications that we get and stuff, we think that we know what we're talking about. So on Tuesday, when we like jumped on your call on Tuesday, and I was like, hey, this is like going to be our 5th photographer. Like, has your answer changed? Can I now hire creative? And you were like, don't do it. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that's me going back to like, I think we're outside of these rules.
I think we've outgrown the rules.
Yeah. And then I have to like, and that's where I'm like in my own mind of like, oh, no. Like we can just do whatever we want. It's our business. And then I ask you, and then you say no. And I'm like, okay,
save us from ourselves.
Trash those people. But A team people would definitely be client focused people. We just went to an event. We're going to go to 2 today. So we just went to 1, and it was the WCR, and we have our photographer there. He's going to do photos and video, and we were there just mingling. And on the way here, we were talking about it, and we were like, man, it is so nice to see our photographer like mingling with the clients. He is our lead photographer. He does phenomenal work. This time last year, I asked you, I was like, hey, he can do like weddings. Should we bring him to events? And you were like, yeah, like if you think he's great, like do it. And I was like, I don't know. Do we like show him stuff? Like he's great. People love him. And you're like, do it. So we saw him at the event. He's our top photographer. So he knows like most of the people at WCR, even though he doesn't go to the events, he works with them. Yeah. So it's like, hey, on the real estate side. Yeah. And he like knew all the people. Like
every time I looked over, like he's either taking a picture of somebody or like laughing in conversation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have to come to these anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Trust, right? It's like you have trust. It's just like someone you can count on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the clients have that trust because they've built that relationship with him. They wouldn't be on that great of terms if they didn't trust him and like him. Like,
Yeah.
That's huge.
And it's hard to, for those here who haven't hired yet, it's hard to know that person exists and is willing to work for you. And you just have to go out and make it happen, right? We talked a lot at the start about you have to be the kind of person that people want to work for too. Like you got to be an A. Like if you're a C player, you're not hiring an A player, or they're not going to stay long if you do, right? And so both sides have to be. But man, it's like the peace that comes from having an A player is so nice. And the first one ruins you. You can never like not see that again.
Yeah.
Now we have, ever since we hired him, we have like a standard that like is very hard to meet because now he's just kind of set the bar so high.
Well, he was our second hire. And so it just made us second guess every decision. I literally had to sit him down and I was like, okay, I think I want to ask this question in the interview. How would you answer this so that I can gauge how to find you again? Like,
how close are they to his answers?
Because he actually did an interview. He messaged us on Instagram. So he never put in an application. So I didn't know
because we'd already hired somebody.
Yeah, we hired somebody and then he swooped in our DMs and got hired.
But that initiative though, like I love it. Like, job's closed. I'm gonna find a way to reach out anyways.
Yeah. Interesting. That is funny. It's like that's when you have a good person, when you're trying to find more like them. And we were talking earlier about how Rod always says this thing, which I love it. It's like he has this light system. So he's like, how would I feel if that person came in and quit today? And it's like, if he's like, oh, thank God, like then it's a red light and you shouldn't have had them, and if it's kind of like, oh, no worries, understood, all the best to you, then it's a yellow light. And if you drop to your knees in the supermarket is what he said, that's a green light. And your job is to find more people that make you drop to your knees if you knew they were going to quit. And so sorry to take your saying, Rod. I had to just
you said it perfectly too. And I think in the comments, What's Up with MJ has a really good question along these lines too, as well as how did you get him to be trusted by your agents when he was taking his first shoots out there with him? Like, what was that like? And how did you build that trust for them to trust him as much as y'all out there in the field? So,
well, we hire based on personality. Like, so already right out the gate, like I don't care what your photography experience is. Like, do you have that personality? Are you like, are you willing to serve others? Can you hold a conversation? That kind of stuff. So you already had like the people aspect. And then when it comes to training, it's just, he was probably in training for about 4 weeks or so. And so he got an opportunity to meet, that many clients, however many we worked with in that time. And it was very much a warm handoff, because he didn't just show up one day and like, who is this guy? The vast, especially like our bigger clients, I would make sure I showed up for the first 1 or 2. I think there's a couple I showed up for the first 3. And I had a system for it. So the first time I show up, we're kind of working it together. The second time I show up, I'm doing very little. And he's doing most of it. The third time I show up, it's me and the agent laughing and joking in the corner while he's doing the work. So that they're like, oh, David didn't even have to be here. Like the other guys got it. Like just,
you're not just shocking them by being like, oh, who's this? When they show up.
Yeah, like what does they say? Like boiling the frog, like it just
slowly.
Like you just do that.
That is very true. So, a lot of people here, like I said, are doing 15K. They probably need to hire a photographer as their next move. Advice, like how to find, what they're looking for. Any thoughts on, while Rod sneezes and turns his camera off, what your thoughts are?
Turning my light on because I started to look dark and gloomy, like I was in some vampirical dungeon or something.
Put your hood up, Rod.
If you must know, Eli.
Thank you. Always don't let it slip when he turns off his camera. Anyway, advice for the people.
Yeah, when it comes to hiring, would this be probably your first hire then, I guess, if you're around that 15K mark? What do you got?
So I really liked, I think it was you, Eli, who liked it, the group interviews. I really like doing group interviews. We started doing the group interviews and then we were more like going through our, like a script essentially of being like, in case you didn't read the application, like this is what you're basically doing. The last couple that I did, I actually turned it more into like a, hey guys, I see you all here. You guys all read the application. What questions do you have? We have 40 minutes. I'm not going to pay for Zoom and it's going to cut us off. So
that hard stop.
And then I'm like, I'm not going to jump back on. Like you have your questions, go. And then I can see who's raising their hand. I can see who's jumping in. I try to watch how long it takes me to get them to laugh because I'm not going to fight for that. Like I know I'm funny. You should laugh. So, like I want somebody who's personable. When we hired our second guy, Stutes, I had just had a baby, so we brought in our 1-month-old, and so he was crying, and so I had to like leave, come back, leave, and so it got to the point where like he's getting interviewed, but like David's over here, I'm over here, and he would literally turn and be like, yeah. Like I felt included in the conversation. He was like talking about the baby. He was great with kids.
You got to think about when that photographer is showing up to the house and they have to interact with the seller. Like, are they able to interact with somebody who's not their direct client?
I just could see Melissa in the interviews, like with the group of people, and like is looking off and cracks a joke, and then looks in the corner of her eye and just sees who's laughing and who's not. You know, just marking down the ones that didn't laugh. All right, you're gone.
We actually record Zooms, and
that's a huge hack. Record those Zooms because you have no idea what you might miss. Like,
yeah. So first hired, I couldn't make it to all the interviews, and so because I had the baby, and so David would do all the Zooms. He would record them all. I would watch them later, and then he would tell me who he liked, and I'd be like, no. Look at Zach the whole time.
Shout out Zach.
Yeah, he's our first hire. The whole time he's looking right at the camera. He's laughing.
Yeah. Active listening with this.
Yes, and because we were at the time, that's when we were like doing the monologues, and so nobody really got to talk. And so when we rewatched it, I was like, he stood out. Like,
and he didn't stand out to me in the moment because I'm monologuing. I'm trying to watch everybody at once. Only during the recording going back, and I'm like, okay, now I can actually focus. I was like, oh, you're right, like 100%.
I love the detail you guys have in that, though. Like that you're looking at everything, you know, when determining who's going to work with you and represent you out there. It's a big deal on who does that. Yeah. So like y'all are very detailed in that regard. I love that. Like you got like a laughing KPI, like you got like laughing metrics. Like that's good.
We did a second and third interview, and he did them in person. And so he was like, hey, my wife can't make it. I'm going to put a camera in the corner.
I was like, hope this isn't weird. Just set up my camera in the corner, my phone. I put my phone on a tripod.
Yeah.
It was like, my wife can't be here, but whatever. And so then later I would watch them all. And if I felt like I couldn't watch the 40-minute interview, if I was like, hey, I got to get out. I'd even ask him, I'm like, I'm 15 minutes in. Can I just quit? Is this guy like worth watching? Yeah. He was like, I didn't really like him either, but we liked him in the group. And so we're like, okay, then I can just like skip this. But there was one time he took a bathroom break and Zach's sitting there, and then he's like kind of looking around. He sees the camera and goes,
yeah, just like personality.
And then goes back, and I was like, him. I like died laughing. I was like, he is totally it.
Pretty much won him the job right there. Yeah. So yeah, for the hack, do a fake bathroom break. Yeah. Tape your camera in the corner. Let them know it's there.
It's like the interrogation room when they're like interrogating the guy. They like leave and watch him through the camera. You know, I do want to highlight something. Rod said this, but I just wanted to point this out for everybody here. Like, think about how much stuff they just said about what they did. Like this decision. This is what you said, Rod. This decision is so important, and so the time and the thought you put into it, not thought as in waiting to do it, but like there's effort put in. It's not the first person you interview. It's exciting, I think, when you're first hiring, that the fact that anybody just even wants to work for you in the first place, you can you start trying to sell them on the job. And it's like what you said, Melissa, was great. It's like they're going to be with your clients. You kind of want them to lead the interview almost and make you feel comfortable, because that's exactly the relationship that's going to happen when they go to a shoot. They're seeing new people all the time. And so I just wanted to highlight that bigger thing, which is there's a thought put into this, right? And a lot of thought. Probably more thought than you put into a lot of other areas of the business. Does that seem true?
Yeah, thought and a ton of effort. And I've actually unlocked the answer to Eli. You don't need Eli AI anymore. So the question, just ask yourself, what is the hardest answer? That's almost always the right answer, which sucks, but it's true. Like doing more is the right answer, or the hard answer is the right one.
You know, I love giving those answers because they're so easy for me, if you think about it.
Yeah. And now I give those to my employees. I'm like, what's our answer? That's what you're doing.
That's very true. Oh, that's a good frame. I like that. I mean, I don't want to do it when I have to make the thing happen, but
don't apply it to yourself. But
that's for other people. We are outside the rules.
That's the point of being a CEO. We want to sit at the beach. You know, we can't be doing any of this work stuff.
No, that's not a fake background at all. Way to go.
The clouds like barely move, so sometimes I'm sketched that it's fake. But when he does that, I know it's real.
Fake backgrounds are getting good these days. They kind of they track with you. You know, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, you get that AI background working for you right now. Yeah.
So last category, because you can't have a team if you don't have clients, unless you're just made of money, and then why would you have a team? So you guys are obviously good at getting clients. Probably make sure referrals and active thoughts. For someone wanting to go to 50 that's at 15, what should they be doing to get clients?
I'm going to say one thing and then let you kind of take over a quick thing. There is no one thing. We get it all the time. People will message us on Instagram and stuff like that. They're like, hey, like, what's one thing you did to like get you there? What's the one thing I could be doing? And the answer is there's no one thing. Mm-hmm. There's no one thing in our business, like for acquiring clients, that if we removed it, like our business would tank. And on the flip side, there's no one thing that we added in that just leveled us up to 50K. It's all of it happening at the same time consistently, and it's getting that compound effect from everything you do. If you want to add any like specific client acquisition stuff.
Yeah, that was just like a super good answer. And then
he like mic drops and he's like, all right, you take it from here, Melissa.
I'm like, where do I go with this?
Okay.
Yeah, we so when we joined REPP, we were like, oh, we're gonna do network and social media. You guys were like teaching Instagram method, and we were like, this takes too long. I don't want to do all these recordings. I don't want to comment on all these people's things. And we were just like, this sucks. So we were like, we're going to do our own thing, and we're going to be the networking people and on social media. And then after doing that for 6 months, which was the whole REPP thing, I realized all these networking events were 30 minutes away. So I'd listen to a REPP call because I never joined live. And I would just listen to a group call on the way there, do my hour-long event. Usually it's the same people because it was the same events I was going to, and then half an hour ride home. And then I would create some social media off of that event, and I get like 2 posts out of it or whatever. And then after 6 months, I was like, this is just not a good use of my time. Like, it is in the sense of like, we want to be everything, but like,
it's not a quick growth.
It was not
I
quick.
love events, but events is a long game. Like,
it
doesn't start paying off for like 6 to 12 months. Which is so worth it. Stick to it. But like, if you're doing one thing, that's not the one thing.
And it did get to a point where I did go to one of like, I think it was like a book club I went to, and I sat down, and of the 6 people there, like 5 of them legitimately said, Melissa, I have a listing coming up. I will reach out later this week. And I called David on the way home, and I was like, it's finally been worth it. It took so long, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we do events, and events are huge, but again, that's kind of a long game thing. But like Instagram method, it works. I think that's one of the faster ways to go about it. Hands down, like the fastest way. We could be doing this a whole lot better, but when we were doing it with any regularity, cold calls, which who would have guessed? And that's like the suckiest answer. I'm sorry, nobody wants.
The hardest answer is always the winner, right?
But the hardest answer is always the winner, right? Like I was tracking my numbers one day because we did like a cold call week to see how it went. Like literally 80% of the people that picked up the phone said they would use us.
Yeah, it's insane actually. Insane. I've been on like I don't say anything beside like anybody. They're like, how should I hire my first employee? I'm like, you should cold call. They're like, that's not what I asked. Like, it is just so good. And
it's like someone's asking you like what you want on your order at a restaurant. You're like, cold call. You're just like, and you're saying it to everyone now. No one's safe.
Yeah, it is so good. I'm glad you guys brought that up. Do you love cold calling? Are you just excited to do it?
I hate it so much. And I sold real estate before this. So like, I'm very like, I've done a lot of cold calling, and it never doesn't suck. But when you get off the phone and somebody's like a big client's like, hey, I'll use you for my next shoot, or hey, they booked one. Oh, dude,
I love cold calling. It's like golf. It sucks all the time until you hit that one good shot, and then it's like, I love golf, and then the next hole, do I don't know.
Yeah. You're like, look how big my fish is. Like,
yeah, you're like celebrating. They're still on the phone. You're like, oh shoot, I should probably book this in. It is. Yeah. Truthfully, there is so much money to be made on the other side of a phone call, and it's not even you're not even really selling. Like, you can just give them a free shoot and just say hi. Like, I don't know why we have such it's probably just like a human fear of rejection, right? But it's like,
why we call it cold giving? Why don't we call it cold giving? Why are we calling it cold calling? You know what I'm saying?
You're like Santa up in there giving them free shoots,
Cold giving or gifting or something.
Yeah. Any advice for someone that, and everybody here will tell me they're going to cold call, and they'll probably tell you they're going to cold call and not do it. But like, any advice you have for them to do it?
Dude, just pull off the Band-Aid. Stop analyzing everything. Like, I know one way of doing it is going through Zillow and like hand picking which ones. I personally, and that works. It does, because then you're kind of going in with a plan. However, how much of that is you just delaying pulling off the Band-Aid? right?
Yeah.
Make the call. So you're stuck in analysis mode. Go do it. Because Todd said it today during his group call. He's like, you got to get like, and these are fake numbers, right? But he said he's always afraid of no's, which is always like why you're afraid to call. But you have to get no's to get yeses. So you know you're going to get 19 no's before you get a yes. When you get a no, like celebrate that. You're cool. I'm one step closer. I need 18 more of these, like so that you can go get that yes, because you're going to get a yes. And you don't have to be polished. That's another thing people think you have to be this like amazing salesperson on the phone. Like you don't have to be like, hi, my name's David with Real Focus Media. Do you have a moment? Let me use this amazing sales script on you.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
Freaking doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. Like be authentic. Just be a person. Like, and just have that conversation. And that's going to resonate, especially with agents, because they're salespeople. If you try using sales stuff on salespeople, like that actually kind of pisses them off a little
Yeah.
bit.
They sense.
They smell it right away. So just be normal. Be a little nervous. Be a little shaky. Say the wrong thing. That's a breath of fresh air to them.
Yeah.
I usually laugh as a default. I'll go off, like, I'll do my script and I'll be like, hey, like, there's nobody in your office that we're working up with right now. So just want to reach out. And they're like, oh, that's a shame. And I go, anyways.
Nervous laughter.
I don't know how to pull this back in. I can't talk like a normal person. I'm on my script, but
Yeah.
it has been working for people. They're like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And then they like go with it. And so we're like, okay.
Yep. Shooting from the hip is the best.
Yeah, that's such good advice, because people try to like, they get the script and it sounds like you said they smell it. We always use the word commission breath. It's like you can tell when someone's just, I don't know. And I think that's why you'll see, you know, for everybody here that's not cold called or sucks at it, which I think we all kind of do, you'll find that you get really good results at the start, and it actually kind of can get worse over time. And the reason for that is because you get more polished over time.
Get fancy.
You get fancy.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's just it's an interesting like opposite effect that you'd think would happen. And so I encourage everybody just to, you
There's a sales guy trainer I follow on Instagram. He's like real Southern, sells roofing.
Mm-hmm.
He's hilarious. What is his acronym? It's help a friend. It's make a friend, help a friend, make a friend, MAFA or something. It's really hard to say. Terrible acronym.
Easy.
But it's make a friend, help a friend. So it's like, I don't know, even obviously sometimes in sales situations, you're not making a friend always, but I don't know. The ones that I see do the best with sales, look at it like that. Like that connection is there, relationships starting to build, opportunities to not be so rigid and professional are great in that regard. And then how am I going to help this person? Make a friend, help a friend. And it seems like y'all do that very well. When you find somebody, you befriend them, you probably shower them with good vibes. And then you just, how can I help this agent is what's on your focus. And it works, I think. So, and y'all have awesome social media. I actually really love y'all's social media. It's always really funny and really good. And you love your team, and your team loves you, and it's really apparent. So y'all got some good social media game, to be fair. So shout out Melissa on that. And shout out Melissa with the Christmas flair. She came prepared for today's live. So thank you.
Christmas events today.
I didn't have the confidence to wear mine. So kudos.
Yeah.
I wish y'all matched. Come on, next time.
Next time we'll see. You're right. Make a friend, help a friend. Like one thing, and it's like mindset's such a big thing, right? Going into those calls. One thing that I can't remember because it's been like 8 years, but somebody's like, if you don't make that phone call, your competition is, and if you know you're better than your competition, you're knowingly letting that person step in and getting bad service. You legitimately think like you're one of the better people, or even if you don't take the best video photos, you're not the best videographer in town, you're going to care the most and you're going to take care of them the most. Like if you don't have like the courage to make that call when somebody else does, you're setting them up to have a bad experience. You're saving them from your bad competitor by making that call. And that actually,
no, it's a good frame. I love that. Yeah. It makes it's like as many things as we can stack to get us comfortable to get on the call and get a good outcome. I'm all for.
That's what we're doing here. We're waiting. We're just saying different light bulb moments. So it just scatters the light bulb moments to everybody. So like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to call. You're just right.
Put all the sticky notes on your mirror so you can remember it. Yeah.
So last question, because we got like 2 more minutes here. What's your team look like right now in general, just before the last question, actually? Like how many photographers? What's that?
Yeah. So it's us. David's not shooting at all. We've got 4 photographers and then about 5 VAs. And then we're going to be hiring an admin because we did have an admin. She left. And so we're going to be hiring pretty soon. Yeah. And then ideally hiring 1 more photographer for the next season. So hopefully January.
Yeah. So pretty kind of like, I don't think you guys heard Tyler's, but around the same team structure, which is what it makes sense to do. So I just wanted you to say that. A couple of people had asked, but I guess the last thing is we spent, before you jumped on, a lot of time talking about how terrible it is going from 20 to 50K, because just like a lot of new things you have to do. But like, basically what I need you to say is that it was worth it. So what's different about your business now? What do you like about the business now versus, when you're at that 10 to 15K stage?
Man, I thought I liked shooting houses. I really did. I thought I was good at it. And I was like, I felt so accomplished at the end of the day. Now when like, if somebody's sick or if somehow like a client really needs it and we're booked out and I have to go do a shoot, dude, I'm like dragging myself there. I'm like, yeah, I could do it. I'm great. But then like when I'm loading my gear up and I'm just like, oh, and then I'm at the house. I'm like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like,
this is like, David is the most annoying photographer we have in this whole business.
I on the ground.
He complains up until the moment where he has to do it. And then he complains on the way home. He'll call me and tell me how terrible. And I have to be like, oh yeah, that sounds totally terrible. And it like sounds like a normal
I'm
shoot.
like, they weren't even nice. And she's like, oh, were they mean? What they say? I'm like, well, they weren't mean. They just, they had a dog.
Like, the lights were off when I got there.
Exactly. Like, I'm so petty with that. And the same thing when we had an admin, like, I was like, oh, this is great. And then like she quit and now I have to answer the phones. And every time my phone rings, I look at it and go,
yeah.
And then, real focus. Like,
the switch can be flipped so easily is the good news.
Easily. Yeah. So as you start like giving these jobs away, you realize how great it is not to have to do them anymore. So as much as like it's hard to do, like once you start scaling up, your business changes, but I strongly believe it changes like for the best. Like if you're in that 15K part right now, guys, you're in the hardest part. Put your nose down, grind as hard as you can. Like, trust me, there's all kinds of new problems that are going to come later, but I would take those new problems over current problems. So yeah, just do what Eli says, man. Get out of that 15K rut. You got it. You can do it this year. Not this year, next year. Definitely not doing it this year.
I mean, anything could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Go. Anyway, thank you both. I appreciate you both. And good to see you as always. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens on your end of things this year as well, because last year was a breakout year. I'm excited to see the trend continue, and appreciate both your time. So have a great evening. Thank you.
No, we appreciate you guys too. And I heard it in the beginning. I'm going to plug it again. If you're not doing coaching, if you're not a member of REPP Coaching, like, what are you doing? That's probably your biggest unlock right now. Like, the amount of money you're going to spend once you see how much money you make, it's pennies. Like, don't tell Eli, but realistically, probably should be charging more. And with that, I'm a coach and I'm still taking on new students. So if you act fast, I'm only taking on 10 and I only have 2. So,
I'll send you the
you got room too, like Tyler. Okay, y'all, come on now. He's got 8 spots literally. So y'all go fight for him.
Yeah, so hurry up.
I'll send you the Venmo for you saying that script after this
thank
call,
you.
if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, I guess it's hard to slip me the 20 over Zoom.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't work. Well, thank you both. I appreciate you, and we'll talk, I'm sure, very soon.
Yeah, no, seriously, I'm excited to see what you guys do, over the course of this year. And just, both of you have obviously inspired the group, same as Tyler too. I probably should have told him this as well, but y'all's interviews you've done with us, and y'all have inspired a lot more people. Yeah, I'm sure you inspired a lot, but it's a lot more than you probably think. And now with you in coaching too is really exciting. So thank you for that, and thank y'all for being on this too. And y'all are always a vibe. You always hype me up, so I appreciate y'all. So
you guys are great. We appreciate you guys.
See you guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Bye, y'all.
Dang. They do. They have like that,
They make my face hurt because I smile the whole time, and it makes my jaw
It's a good
hurt.
dynamic between the two of them.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anyway, well, thanks for being here, everybody. We hope you got a lot out of this. Mainly, I was like prepping this, and I wanted to give you some tactics and some framework, but also just a kick in the right direction. And so I hope this accomplished that for you. And don't write off December. It's the 11th. You have more time this year, and like they all said, I mean, it's just there are times when you shouldn't just worry about the grass being greener, but sometimes it just is freaking greener. And I think it is worth to scale your business, and it's worth to put in the time now. And you have an opportunity now as someone who's full-time in real estate media, where your other commitments are probably not there. I doubt many of you have a job or anything like that anymore. And you really have the opportunity to build something here that's not just going to benefit you and, meaningfully impact your life as you get to the 50K plus mark, but you can build awesome teams and get to work with people. And it's a lot of fun. And so you have a serious opportunity ahead of you, and it's up to you to take advantage of it. And I hope this call pushed you in that direction. And, like David said, if you're not in Forward yet, truthfully, well, two things. One, Tyler and David both have open spots. They've both agreed to work with 10 students. And so if one of them, speaks or sticks out to you as someone you'd love to have you help you in the next stage of your business, let us know. And, we'd love to make that happen. Rod will put the link in the chat here, I think, in a second.
You want me to put the link just straight to the calendar? Or
Yeah,
the apply page.
So, no, they already applied. They're already here.
That's right.
So you can, if you haven't talked about coaching yet, go to that link. You'll just be able to book a call with our team. You'll talk to Aaron, Nicole, or Megan, and they'll be able to answer your questions about the program. Let them know, if you have a specific coach you want to work with, whether it's Tyler or David, they'll be able to facilitate that. I don't. Every time I say this, I hate that I'm even saying it, but it's true. On January 1st, we are raising the price of coaching. It's not just some marketing thing. We just continue to add new stuff. And so it's a good time now to lock that in if you haven't yet. And if you've already chatted with someone on our team, just reach out to them, text them back, ask them questions. Make use of the rest of December and January. It's really good, foundation building time for your business. It's even better. Like Tyler, David and Melissa, they're in coaching right now. They continue to invest in Orbit. And I think, that should show a lot, not just in terms of obviously you want to work with the rep coaching, but just having a coach and working with someone is a key to success, and having that outside perspective. But it's even better when it's someone who knows your business and has literally built what you're trying to build. They're not just business coaches. These are people that have real estate media companies that match up with the revenue goals that you have, and they've exceeded that, and they've done it, a lot of times quickly, and they made a lot of mistakes. They can share things they've learned. And so we'd love the opportunity to help you make this happen in your business. And, I know a lot of you are here in coaching. My greatest goal that I had in mind with today was, like David and Melissa said, their first round of coaching, they kind of let the gas off. And then when they hit it, they went from 7K in January to 50K this year plus.
Crazy.
I
want smiles on their faces. They're not, in the pit of despair from fat.
No.
They're happy with where they're at too. After monstrous growth like that usually can create some stresses, but they persevered through it, obviously.
So if you're take it seriously,
trust. The hard part is when y'all are at this level is trusting the change that we suggest. That's what I'm seeing mostly back there is you've done something a certain way, and it's easy to say, well, I do it this way because whatever the thing is, instead of trusting the change of which we're suggesting back there. And from what I've seen, the ones that start back there at 7, 8, 10, 15 grand months and explode to 50 grand a month within a year, they're just like David and Melissa said, it's just at some point it clicks to just trust the change. And at this point, we just have so much data. We've been lucky enough to work with so many businesses now. We're data junkies here, Eli and I and the rest of the team, that we see that data, and it just helps us to help people more. And it's almost just trust the data, trust the change, trust your coach fully. Even if it's something you're like, oh, there's no way I can change that. Lean in on that, because anytime someone does trust that, they go back and go, damn, I wish I did that faster.
Yeah,
every time, like clockwork, So I think at y'all's level, it's really just trusting the process, trusting the changes that we might suggest in your business. Not mean monstrous things. Sometimes it might be if something's happening that needs to be changed, but if you're in coaching now, that's the biggest thing I see, with Forward coaching is just trusting that. So then if you're not in coaching or haven't talked to us yet, like Eli said, use that link, hop in. Our team won't bite. They're all three, Megan. The ones that would talk to you guys at this level now are Megan, Nicole, and Aaron. Are amazing. They have a ton of experience with this business and analyzing businesses, being able to diagnose where business is at to show you how coaching actually will help you with where you're at in the cost acronym. So be upfront with them, show up with numbers, be ready to talk about that. If you've already talked to somebody on the team here, whether it's myself or one of them, text them, say, I want to talk again. I want to look at this. And I think it's good to work on next year now, not next year, but working on it now is the big thing. And I know a lot of people in here, shout out Nicole. Thank you, Marco. I might be rambling now, so I apologize. But a lot of people are talking about procrastination and not doing things. I think it's a cycle of stress comes from you not taking action on things first and foremost. I think it was Jeff Bezos said that, or stress is derived from you not taking action on things. Well, then it's not so easy to know what actions to take. I know you all want to go to a 50 grand month, but what the hell do I do to do that? Right. And then it becomes this, well, you want to take action because that will eliminate the stress, but then you're not sure what you're taking action on is the right thing. So what does that create? Fear. So now you're stressed and have fear, and you know you need to do something, but you're not sure what that something is. The solution for that is getting someone that has data to help you make those decisions with confidence. So now you're taking action, stress is gone. You know you're doing the right things, fear is gone. Right. So I think why coaching works at this point and why in business getting help is a big deal is because of that. It eliminates the stress and the worry so you can focus on strategic action. And then if you trust that action and that advice from the coaches here, that's when you get someone going from 8 grand a month to 50 grand a month in a matter of 12 months, like Melissa and David. So that's just my ramble there. I just had to leave y'all with a nice ramble at the end here. So
I have nothing.
Not too many people left. So that's good. That's not bad.
There's nothing I could add to that. That was well said. And yeah, advice we take ourselves too. We always have coaches and learn from others. So this has been Scale. Hope everybody got a bunch out of it. And I don't even have
this more often, man. Come
on. It's ridiculous. I have like the generic. I mean, come on now. I have this thing. It's like I should have had a Scale custom one. Anyway, go get to 50K.
We forgive you on your birthday. Like, happy birthday. Thank you for spending time with all of us here today.
It was great. Thank you, everybody. And have a great evening. Chat with us. We take the responsibility seriously. We want your business to grow. And so we'd love to work with you. And have a great night, everybody. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Got a little